to win in hell, you'll need to drive like the devil himself. Welcome to the FIA World Rallycross Championship presented by Monster Energy. We've travelled north to the Rallycross hotbed of Norway. Situated just outside Trondheim, the magnificently named Hell circuit is a classic on the RX calendar. Expect a packed house of very vocal fans, especially if a fellow countryman is in the running. Double world champ Petter Solberg will be looking to be the first Norwegian to win on native soil in World RX. The action is going to get hot in hell. Round 4 saw the World RX circus at the birthplace of the sport, Lydden Hill in the UK. As qualifying came to a close, the reigning champ was looking unstoppable, and following a semi-final victory, Solberg lined up on the front row next to Mattias Ekström. It was all set for a rematch of the 2015 final in the UK, but this time it was Ekström who was on top after the Jokers played out, bagging his 3rd victory in a row.
I think UK was a little bit special. Played out a bit that we had better tyre management and better tyre strategy. So beat Petter was quite a nice revenge from last year, and it's an awesome feeling to show that we are able to fight back even the weekend didn't run perfectly smooth in the qualifying heats. For the moment I enjoy winning races, and the championship is for the moment priority too.
So with 3 wins in 4 events, Ekström leads the championship, but only by 5 points over Solberg. The next Norwegian on the list is Andreas Bakkerud in 6th, who won his first qualifying session of the year at Lydden. Teething problems have dogged him and the new team this year, but there have been sparks of performance in the firestorm that could be Hoonigan Racing Division.
No, it's a new team, new car, but we are getting there every race. We're getting closer. UK last event was pretty good. We set the track record for a little while, I mean, we had very good pace. We had good tires for the final, so it would be exciting to see if we could match up with Petter and Ekström. Norway in hell is one of the highlights of the year. Every team, every driver puts their level a little bit more up. You need to be a little bit lucky to win here in Norway. So. But, you know, both me and Petter have been quick this year. It might be that a Norwegian driver can win again. So badly I want to win.
With what looks like championship-winning form by Ekström, the EKS team are sitting top of the team standings by a 54-point margin, with Peugeot Hansen in 2nd place. Last year, Norway ignited a 3-in-4 winning spell for the Swede Timmy Hansen. He will be hoping Hell can kickstart a championship run again in 2016.
It was so good to be back in the final and even back on the podium. So it feels like we are getting back in shape. Difficult to put the finger on what happened at the beginning of the season. I felt we always had the speed, but small mistakes in the wrong moment in rallycross can be very costly. We have lots of ideas and we have tried to put that in the car to take that extra step on speed this weekend. Last year was great here, and I won the race, and David in my mirrors when I finished the race, so 1 and 2. And if we could repeat anything similar to that, I'd be really happy. In rallycross, you get into these good rhythms, and I had one of those in the end of last year, and Mattias have it now. Petter had it in the end of 14, and somehow you get into the weekend relaxed, I think, and everything just seems to play for you. But it's everyone else's job to try to end that for Mattias now.
For anybody new to World Rallycross, this is how the championship works. Everybody takes part in 4 timed qualifying sessions. The top 12 qualify for the 2 semi-finals. The top 3 from each semi go through to the final for a chance to win the event. Drivers score championship points at all stages of the competition. It's an epic battle from start to finish in World RX. Here's the track preview presented by Ion Cameras. Norway, the first of our Scandinavian rounds. There are a lot of drivers who'd like to win this one. The circuit of hell, 1,019 metres long, 63% asphalt, 37% dirt. We ride with Andreas Bakkerud. down towards the first corner, braking hard. The Joker lap goes left here. We take the right-hand side through the standard lap. Those big curves on the inside onto gravel, not too sideways, and it's braking and a very steep downhill left. Through the gears, it's flat out through the right-hander, past the first intermediate split, and then down towards the hairpin, braking, turning in and trying hard to get the car on the gas early for another steep run up the hill, close to the barrier on the right-hand side, then braking and flicking the car across close to the left. Another hard stab of the brakes, and it's important again to find the traction here as you sweep through the right-hander, steep uphill and over a jump at the finish line. Coming up, we've got highlights of the action from qualifying 1 and 2, the best of the action from qualifying 3. It's crunch time in Q4, only the top 12 qualify. Up next, our first final of the day, the RX Lights. Then we're live for the World RX Supercar semi-finals, the Euro RX Supercar final, and then the big one, the World RX Supercar final. Tymosyanov, Hansen and Baumanis got proceedings underway in the first race of Q1. The Russian had been fastest in both practice sessions here in Norway, but it was Hansen who took the win, setting what looked to be a very impressive time. Race 2 saw a typical split strategy in the first corner Joker. Solberg led Nittish on the standard lap, while Loeb led everyone else through the Joker. With the rally legend closing the gap on the World Rallycross champion, Solberg jokered on lap 3 to defend his position and held on until the checkered flag. At the start of the next encounter, Ekström lost out to Ericsson in the Joker, while Block led the race through turn 1. The chasing pack looked to be gaining on the leaders, so Doran took his Joker, but on the exit came together with Kevin Ericsson, causing him to spin. Ekström avoided the carnage to take the win, but Anton Markman was missing at the finish, and this was why. The final race was a real crowd pleaser for the locals. Andreas Backerud squeezed Kristoffersson at the start and set a blistering pace out front. When the Jokers played out, Kristoffersson and Heikkinen came together at the merge, while Backerud finally knocked Hansen off the top spot and went fastest in Q1. There was early drama in Q2 when Liam Doran suffered this big crash as a result of contact on the way into turn 1. The British bomb had sensibly left space to the pack squabbling inside him, but when Nittish and Block touched, the Latvian driver speared off into the path of Doran. Doran could only watch on as the race restarted. Ken Block led the early laps, but Larsen made this fantastic pass to take the win. Sebastian Loeb led the pack out of the Joker in his race and immediately set about hunting down Yannis Baumanis. Loeb's masterclass meant that when Baumanis hit the merge, the rally legend was in front, but they were both quick and slotted into first and second in the Q2 standings. The last race of the day was all about Joker lap tactics, with Solberg splitting left on the first lap to try and find some clear air. But the champion couldn't match the pace and was beaten to the rejoin by Hansen, and Tymosyanov and Backerud were on an absolute flyer out front. As the flag dropped, the timing screen showed Backerud had gone quickest overall again and would hold the overnight TQ at home in Norway. The fans were pleased, to say the least.
Yeah, seeing the smile on their face gives me a lot of energy, and I'm quite nervous on the start grid, and I know the body is sharp.
No Norwegians managed to win in Norway. Is this going to be the weekend?
Are you giving me the pressure? Yeah, I can take it, no problem.
Topping the standings with 2 wins in the first 2 sessions in qualifying, then Backerud. A brilliant performance by Tymosyanov to be second. Timmy Hansen third, last year's winner here. Sebastian Loeb, Petter Solberg, Yannis Baumanis, Ekström and Kristoffersson are the top 8. Larsen, Heikkinen, Genet and Block are making the cut at the minute. Ericsson, Nittish, Gronholm and Doran are outside.
Rennes, now obviously Q2 was eventful for you, to say the least. So can you talk through what happened with the incident?
I didn't understand at the beginning what was happening. I just felt that my car didn't steer at all, but after that I understood that Doran rolled on my car actually. But it was not my fault. I saw a video from outside and it's hard to say. I took good start, then I lost a little bit at the end of the straight and was touching with Ken Block and Larsson, and then Doran was trying to pass me on outside and just catched my front wheel and he rolled.
Okay, Liam, that was certainly an incident that you didn't want to happen. It was a big roll. Can you talk us through what happened from your point of view?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't on our cards, on our planned cards. Yeah, I underpowered still with the car and struggling through to find speed, and the biggest problem is the start line straights, because it's just a drag race to the first corner, and I was on the outside. I went to go around the outside line and what I thought was a clear line where everyone else was braking, and had a massive whack on the inside, and it just was enough to roll the car over. It was quite obvious, but yeah, it wasn't as dramatic as it might have looked. I spent a lot of time on our roof going upside down, and then it rolled over. I haven't even seen any footage, so I don't really know who it was or exactly what happened, but it wasn't deliberate and it wasn't on the plan.
It looked like you just got edged out by Nittis. It looked like it was just a squeeze in the coming to the first corner.
Yeah, it wasn't a squeeze, because I was definitely had clean air between me and them at one point, and when I turned in, they came a lot closer than I thought they would. So yeah, I'm not going to point fingers, but it wasn't a very good situation, but I'm sure it wasn't deliberate either. It's pretty badly damaged, and yeah, we just got to look at the season. Rather than tomorrow, because it's a long season and we've got to look at what we have to do to get out for tomorrow.
Now, Timo, it's been a great start to the weekend, qualifying and finishing overall in second place going into tomorrow. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's brilliant for me. It's finally in this season from the start we get some good result. In Belgium we was third, and now we are second. Even the speed is with us. We hopefully that next day would be better.
So you certainly found a little bit of form from last time. What's changed?
From England, you mean? Yes, we just find more. This track is more suitable for our car and for the driver. I know this track really good since first run of the European Championship, and I really like these tracks. Like Sweden and Norway is a brilliant track for rallycross, special done. And yeah, I love it. And last year was a little bit tricky. Some small problems in the semi-final with my roll, but still I was in the final. But I need to stop on that.
Well, here's how they stand after Q2. Andreas Backerud on the top of the table. Timosyanov, Hansen, Loeb, Solberg, Valmanis, Ekstrom and Kristoffersen are the top 8. And Q3 is coming up soon. Larsen, Haken and Genet and Block are in. The others are missing the semis as it stands at the moment. My name is Andrew Coley. On commentary duty with me this weekend is Guy Wilkes, and Kiri Bloor is reporting from the paddock. Liam Doran made the start of the first race in Q3. Absolutely fantastic job by the team, who had to work an all-nighter to get the Mini back in one piece. No damage to the roll cage meant that he could take part, but he didn't manage to keep up with Niklas Gronholm out front. Gronholm doing well in the IMSC Fiesta and taking the checkered flag. Race 2 Q3 are on the line. Genet, the final car to pull up to the grid. So it's Hakkinen on the outside. Genet, Ken Block is in the middle of the grid. Reinis Nittisch and Anton Markland. Anti-lag on, the ready to race lights are on. You can see them on the left-hand side of your screen. They go out, then it's a random hole for the green and away. Looks like a great start from Ken Block in the middle of the grid, but then he goes backwards. Nittisch moves across and shuts the door on him. Haikkinen's up the inside. Nittisch goes choker. Genet's gone with him. Block's going to get pushed out here. Genet up the inside of Nittisch. So Genet's going to try and out-track Nittisch down to turn 2, but Nittisch will be on the inside. So Markland has gone to the standard lap with Hakkinen.
Yeah, they were all over each other there in the choker. I think they actually held each other up because Nittisch got pushed wide by Genet, and that just slowed them both down, really. And Genet, again, obviously having a little dabble down the inside. Remember, we're racing time here. Each other, yes, if you're getting held up, but that's why you have to use the joker and try and leapfrog each other.
A first corner joker's hard, isn't it, tactically? Because you go down there, you don't know what's going to happen in turn one. You make a last-minute decision, and so does everybody else.
Especially here off the start line, because you're 5 abreast. When you're piling down into that corner, you have no idea what everybody else is doing. So you can think, yeah, I've got a great tactic, I'm going to go joker, but all of a sudden you can be 3 abreast going into the joker on the gravel.
And it's not like Lydon either, where you've got that very firm split, so the guy on the inside is highly unlikely to go all the way to the outside. Here, the guy on the inside can get the whole shot and still go to the joker.
Yeah, we did see it last year, didn't we? PG Anderson memorably did it, and he just completely baffled everybody else by doing it.
Nitish up the hill in the Seat's been working with his engineer at the last couple of events, says he's getting a bit happier with the car. Development season for a new chassis for the All England Motorsport team.
David Genet trying a different line on the way in there. Looked like he was tugging the handbrake, just trying to get a good drive down the main straight here.
We're waiting on Heikkinen taking his joker lap. Genet up behind Nitish. They've both jokered already, so he's going to have to make a pass. Actually heard yesterday, Ekstrom's spotter saying to him, we have to pass. Like, he obviously done the joker. Matthias probably knows, but a little reminder, you're going to have to go for it. We saw Larson make a good pass, so you can pass here. You can pass here. You saw David Genet running the curbs there. Very dangerous thing to do. It's a bit of a gamble, that, but yes, you have to be sniffing at the inside rear quarter all the time here. It was this corner, wasn't it, that Larson, I think, got block on yesterday. Just slotted up the inside, door to door. Heikkinen into the joker, and the same mistake almost just grown up a little bit nicer. No, okay, very nicely done by Toppy. Late on the turn-in, but got on the gas early. Yeah, it was nicely done. He was probably just a car width further wide than he wanted to really be, but nevertheless, he's got the job done. Heikkinen flat out down the hill. We're on board with Nitish. On the brakes, down through the gears. This corner here can rut up, but looking at it, the track is in fantastic condition. A puff of exhaust from Heikkinen's car up the hill. And plenty of water on the track. Remember, yesterday we did suffer some dust, so they've heavily watered this track overnight. Great stuff from the Norwegian organisers, and great stuff from Heikkinen too. Up to the top, 2:43.777. He has absolutely smashed the time of Niklas Gronholm. How's that looking compared to yesterday, guys? I think that's a pretty good time for the track conditions. Yesterday, obviously, Backwood was down in 39.2. Yeah. But very different, the track conditions today. Yesterday, it was very dry and clean in the gravel sections. They reset the whole track, if you like. So I think it's a decent time so far. Markland over the line, a fair way behind everybody else. And remember, he dropped a second out, well, maybe not a second, but he dropped a good bit of time in the joker, Toppy. He didn't get it absolutely nailed. Not absolutely bang on the money. Here are the results of race 2. Heikkinen with the win, 2:43.7. As Guy was saying, the track's wet, so maybe they won't get much quicker than that. Nitish going with him, Genet, Block and Markland. The top 4 there all going in. Markland the only one. I think Markland had a problem which we didn't see because he's a long way off the pace. Off the start. So Block looked to have got it hooked up early, but then suffered wheel spin away from the line. And the line does drop off, you can see in the background, so you get a loss of traction away a second after you've pulled off the line. Yeah, it almost looked like Toppy was a little bit undecided what he was going to do, but I don't believe that. It just looked a little bit strange how the car turned in, but nevertheless, you can see here David Genet's doing what I said, trying to get the inside rear quarter all the time, just in case they lock brakes over that little bump into that left-hander downhill. This right-hander's very quick into it as well. He was over the back. Nitish gapped him in certain areas, but then Genet fought back. Heikkinen in the joker. So this is where we thought he was a little bit wide, Guy, yeah, maybe. He didn't maybe lose a second, but he definitely maybe a third of a second to a half. Gathered up the mistake nicely, where Niklas went in with a lot of understeer in the previous race. Heikkinen managing to light the rear up, 600 horsepower, can kill understeer pretty swiftly. Well done, Toppy.
Alexi Thomas waited right till the last lap. Great tactics there, paid off.
Yeah, it paid off, and that was the tactic we planned from the start of the race, and everything went well, and seems like that the guys have done a great job today, and our Audi S1 is flying.
Fantastic. And on to Q4, tactics the same?
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Brilliant, thank you.
Thank you.
Q3, race 3. The world champion is racing at home in this one. Solberg on the inside for turn 1. Next to him, Larson, Kristoffersson, Matthias Ekstrom and Kevin Eriksson right on the outside of the grid. Eriksson managed to beat Ekstrom down to turn 1 a couple of times on the way into the joker. It was once, sorry, on the way into the joker. Managed to get up the inside, was very, very brave, but coming from the outside there. 4 cars inside him. Who do you think will go joker here? What's your money? I think Solberg will go inside, but we'll see. Unless he gets a stonker of a start. Well, we'll see, won't we? Here we go. Ready to race goes out. Green light, and it does look like a good start for Solberg. It's a great start for everyone. Larson's the only one who's just half a car length back. Kristoffersson around the outside, straight into the joker lap. Solberg on the handbrake on contact. Larson goes up in the air with contact with Eriksson. And there's a big old bun fight on the inside. Ekstrom drops into second place. So
I'd be surprised if Larsson's car hasn't suffered some sort of damage over that. That was a hell of a kick off the curbs.
And well, was it curbs or was it? Look, I wasn't sure if that was or Ericsson, but either way, I think the best choice there was probably by Kristoffersson. That Solberg maybe won't have been held up, but there was definitely contact between the other guys there.
Absolutely, but now we've got a race on, haven't we?
Yeah, Solberg
versus
Ekstrom.
It's gone wide a little bit. Ekstrom, like we said, different driving style. Ekstrom likes to keep the car nice and neutral into the apex, and Petter gets a little bit deeper on the way in generally, and obviously gets the car more sideways.
Larsson into the joke lap. Solberg guy was so fast at Lydden Hill, where obviously, again, you said you were racing, but he cooked the tyres. So he's found a setting that can match the pace of the EKS RX cars, but is he using the tyres too hard? And we've got tyre information on Petter.
Our tyre spies have told us that he's got 3 new tyres, in fact, and the front right is an old one. I believe that will be turned on the rim, so he's got a good shoulder on it, which means it won't cause him too much harm. But obviously, clockwise track, front right is the inside tyre. You're only working it twice on this track.
Solberg with Ekstrom right behind him. Are they going to go for a different joker strategy? They do. Ekstrom into the joker. Ericsson goes with him. So Ericsson goes with him. Solberg on the way down the hill. And Kristoffersson's going to come out in front of Ekstrom. So Kristoffersson has done a good job there. And Solberg was only 1 car length in front of him. This is going to come down to whether Kristoffersson can get Solberg.
Ekstrom was held up on the way in there, had to brake a little bit earlier because Petter was a little bit wider into the first corner.
If he'd made the decision earlier, do you think he could have come wider and gone in there a bit quicker?
I don't know. You don't want to get too wide on the entry into there because it's very loose and it's very wet at the moment into the joker, so you can't really carry it all the way around the outside. It's a difficult call.
So Ekstrom with a compromised joker entry. We think Solberg's going to go to the joker lap now. Can Kristoffersson get him? Well, Solberg pitches the car in. He's a bit wide too, but he gets on the gas early. On the inside, this is going to be close on the merge, but I think Solberg's going to do it. Solberg comes out in front of Kristoffersson. So Ekstrom held up, definitely, and he's right up behind Kristoffersson now as well.
Yeah, and Johan Kristoffersson wasn't that happy yesterday with the car setup, and they tried quite a few different changes, and they said that we're either going to be... They were 0.3 of a second lap slower yesterday, they'd worked out. So we're either going to be there, or we're going to be 0.6 of a second slower.
Fastest lap of the day for Solberg, so no such problems for him. He's doing a fantastic job through the last right-hander. There's the time down bottom right, which Solberg's got to beat if he wants to win the timesheet so far. Over the jump at the finish line, 2:42.0. Solberg is 1.7 faster, and that puts him P1 at the minute. Great drive by him at home in Norway. All 5 cars over the line, very close together. Here's the result. Solberg with a 2:42.018. Kristoffersson managed to get the better of Ekstrom. Maybe Ekstrom compromising the joker. Ericsson and Larsson, those guys all within 3 seconds of each other, and as a result, they're all in the top 7. Good time look from Nittish in 6th place. That's promising for him to still be up there with just 1 race to go in Q3. Off the line, on board down towards turn 1.
It's Petter.
It is Petter. That was Kristoffersson going like a bullet. That was a big hit, wasn't it?
Yeah. That just shows how aggressive they are. It really kicked the car hard there, because it's just it's like hitting a small, well, it's not a small brick. It's like hitting a curb end on.
They're sausage curbs, aren't they? So yeah. in F1 they use a sausage curb on the inside of the flat curb to effectively enforce a track limit. Here it's just a load of sausage curbs all the way around the corner, which means you cannot cut by much if you don't want to risk ripping a wheel off. That was Ekstrom into the joker, and you think, as you say, Guy, maybe he lost a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Kristoffersson got the better of him. There was a gap there, look, only a couple of car lengths, and he was on him. So Ekstrom is very fast, but this weekend not quite going his way so far. Solberg is at the top of the standings in Q3. Is anyone going to beat him in the last race? Last race of Q3. Andreas Backerud is in this one, and he is currently at the top of the table. There he is on the inside. He won Q1 and Q2. Behind him, Timozyanov, who's flying this weekend. Loeb and Hansen, the teammates, and Timozyanov's teammate Baumanis on the outside. So the 2 Wild RX Team Austria cars going fantastically here this weekend. Really, really strong on this circuit. Timmer doesn't really know where the pace has come from. He just says he's relaxed driving the car. Did say to me last night that if he overdrives the car, the pace goes away straight away. It only works when he's relaxed, which was what he was in free practice. Is he going to be relaxed here? Can anyone get near to Backerud? It's a clean sweep for him so far. Oh, now, sideways from Backerud off the line, and it's Loeb who got a great start. Loeb gets a great start, tries to come around. Timosyanov in the side of Loeb. I'm not even sure Loeb wanted to go into the Joker lap. Timosyanov forced it, and Loeb comes out the Joker in the better position. In the background, somebody's had it. Balmanis must have had a bad start, but Loeb got forced there, Guy.
Yeah, there was a bit of bumping and shoving down the main straight. Nothing too aggressive, but the cars reacted. Loeb darted to the left, and obviously in the Joker, you know, Timosyanov sniffed an opportunity, just overcooked it on the brakes.
Interesting to see that.
Given it to Backerud really already, haven't they, we could say?
Yes, they have. They've handed that to Backerud. Loeb did well to recover from that. He was right up the bank that we saw Liam Doran roll on yesterday. So it's Backerud, and behind him, Timmy Hansen, as they come past the competition. Hansen won here last year. Backerud turns the focus in.
That car looks so good around this track in the long, loaded corners, you know, that focus. So neutral and well-balanced.
Be interesting to see if they can develop it for the more twisty circuits. We know they said they struggled a little bit with the car in Belgium.
But those are the cars that are going really quick at the moment, other than obviously Andreas Backerud. The cars that really increased in pace are the Team Austria cars. And they've just jumped.
Yeah,
massive.
Absolutely fantastic. Both the drivers seem really comfortable in the team. Saw Max Puch, the team boss, this morning. He was all smiles, as you might expect. Puch's racing here in the European Rallycross Championship. Backerud over the line to move on to lap 3. In terms of Jokers, Loeb and Timosyanov went on lap 1, even though Loeb didn't really want to. He had no choice, and into the Joker lap goes Balmanis. Balmanis is going to drop a couple of places here, but we know he had a problem. Fastest lap of the day for Yanis Balmanis, though, so despite a bad start, that just goes to show you how quick those cars are. Down the hill, Backerud.
He has clean air, but still fair play, because Yanis Balmanis, as we know, where he's come from, obviously Super 1600s, and progressing the supercars, you know, he's doing a great job, as is Timosyanov.
I asked Balmanis in the press conference, what's it like, you know, the jump up, you know, European Super 1600 champion, you know, the guy can drive, but he said the difference with a supercar, you just arrive at everything faster. Here we go, into the Joker lap. Backerud goes in, Hansen's with him, looking in the background to see if Loeb's managed to make up any time, and despite that moment in turn 1, Loeb very, very close indeed to Backerud. I think Loeb might have had the better of him. Loeb goes to have a look up the inside. There isn't enough room, and it's a train of cars now down towards the hairpin. I think Backerud's got enough space though, Guy.
Yes, and he can hug the corners very well in that car. Sebastian's defending a little bit here from Timmer, actually, but they're racing time again, aren't they? So they don't want to trip each other up or themselves.
On with Backerud there. Look back through the steering wheel. You can see the vibration coming through the gear shift. Backerud through the long right-hander on the gas. He's trying to beat that time in the bottom right corner. He's going to do it. Backerud has done it, 2:40.092. P1 Backerud, that is all 3 qualifying sessions won so far. Nobody has ever won all 4. Is Backerud going to do it here at home, or will he try and save some tyres for the semis? Either way, looking pretty calm in there with the old Darth Vader style helmet on. We can't see the emotion on his face, just on the faces of his fans. Here's the result of the final race of Q3. Backerud taking the win. Sebastian Loeb in second. That's a great time from him to Timosyanov, Hansen and Yanis Balmanis. The top 3 look slot into the top 3 places. Hansen ended up down in 5th, but Backerud's won all 3 qualifying sessions so far. Off the line, this is on board with Backerud, down towards turn 1. Look over to the left-hand side, you'll see Loeb. And Timosyanov just, I'm going to the Joker. Loeb wasn't, was he, guys?
That's why he gave the nudge there, that he had to be very forceful against Sebastian, because Sebastian was trying to come across him because he needed to. He needed to hold the line on the inside, otherwise he was going off the track and up the bank.
And what could Loeb have done, though, if it hadn't been for that? Because he was right with Backerud at the Joker lap merge, which I'm sure we'll see in a moment. Backerud in the focus. Here we go. This was still a lap before. This was Balmanis in just after he'd set that fastest lap. Didn't see what happened to, obviously not a great start for Balmanis.
The interesting thing is, I'm fairly sure that Sebastian hasn't got that car exactly as he wants it this year so far.
What's he going to do when he does?
That is a bit of a step overnight, so have they changed something?
Maybe. Of course, they won here last year. Backerud didn't quite see the merge, but we know it was tight from that rear shot. And then Backerud edged them again on the second half, so absolutely flying. He's done a brilliant job. Yes, there we are, fist pump, and rightly so. Is he going to win all 4? Andreas Backerud with a clean sweep of 50 points. Brilliant job by him. And look at Timosyanov in second place. Great drive by him too. Loeb is in third. Hansen, his teammate, 4th. Solberg still in 5th. Balmanis is up there. Ekstrom and Kristoffersen. Ekstrom isn't quite on it here this weekend. Look, his teammate Heikkinen in at the moment in 9th. Larsen, Genet and Kevin Eriksson. At the minute, Rainy Snittish and Ken Block are just outside the top 12. Some fantastic slow motion pictures for you to have a look at from Norway. The wonderful Hell circuit, a real roller coaster of a place. And this is Matthias Ekström, Guy Wilkes in the last corner.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to get a good look at different driving styles and different car setups, what the drivers actually prefer. Matthias Ekström, a racing driver through and through, but very good car control and skill through all disciplines of motorsport. As you can see, the car quite neutral through there, and he does like to drive like that. Petter Solberg here, he likes to get the car into oversteer on the way in, definitely, and as you can see, a lot of body roll, front left, scraping the ground, tyre roll on the front left tyre there, very heavily loaded over the front left into the corner and getting very deep on the brakes. On the way out, likes the car to be as straight as possible, keep all the weight even over the front and rear axles, so even weight equals good traction.
Very, very important to get the power down out of there. It's steep uphill, and this is the opposite, of course. This is steep downhill. Christopherson coming from the tarmac section. In the background, you can see the Joe Clapp merge. Downhill, you've got to not get too sideways, and then you've got to get off the gas and on the brake and pitch it into this left-hander.
Definitely, Andrew. It leads you in this corner. Like you said, it's downhill, very tricky, off the gravel, onto the tarmac. Long, tight left-hander downhill, curb on the inside. You don't want to use too much of that. But as you can see, there's a little bump in there and just unloads the car ever so slightly, but you've got to be so careful with the pressure in the brake pedal not to keep too much pressure while you're going over that rise. Unloads the damper, you can just lock the wheel, you can run wide, lose 2-3 metres, that's enough for somebody to have a sniff up the inside.
It's a great overtaking opportunity. Joe Clapp merge here in Hell is fantastic. Here's Sebastian Loeb, and again, quite unsettling here. The road surface isn't that smooth.
As you can see there perfectly, the damper unloading, he just looked like he pulled the handbrake at the back to get the car turned. Maybe he was just a little bit overcooking it on the brakes there. Wanted to make sure the car turned in. You see the rear wheel lock before. A little bit of oversteer on the way in, not a problem. Very, very critical to get a good downhill drive out of here. Not let the car run too wide. You've got a quick section, downhill right-hander, then back onto gravel, long right-hander, but it's very, very important to get a good drive out of that corner.
Liam Doran coming through the last corner. The curbs here are absolutely savage, and whilst in some circuits we see at Montenegro in Portugal they use all the curb, here as a general rule wanting to use as little as possible.
You could see the deflection in the front right wheel there, and also those are like fingers. They're not like shark fin curbs, which are very smooth on a normal racetrack. They're very, very aggressive, about 6 inches high on the inside. You imagine hitting those. We can see front right here of backwards car. He's just tickling those curves, but look at the deflection in the wheel and the suspension arms. Very stressful for the car. You don't want to get too deep into those.
Smoking the wheels up from backward and heading up to the jump at the finish line. Just one more qualifying session to go, and at the minute Andreas Backrud with a clean sweep of Qs 1 to 3. Is he going to make it 4 out of 4? Timosyanov second, Loeb in third, Hansen, Solberg, Belmanis, Ekström and Christopherson are your top 8. Only the top 12 go through. At the minute that will be Heikkinen, Larsen, Genet and Eriksson. Q4 race 1, Liam Doran was in this one, but it was Anton Markland who was on the real fly-up. VWRX Sweden driver getting the hang of driving the Polo again this season. Doran pushing on in the Mini, but of course that damage from yesterday costing them. He managed to set a decent time, but Markland was absolutely flying. Fantastic time for him. Munich even starting in front of Liam Doran. Markland taking the checkered flag. Q4 race 2. The Monster Energy girls are down on the grid, and so are the cars. Niertisch is on the inside. Next to him, Larsen, then Genet, Ken Block and Niklas Gronholm on the outside. The depth of talent in the World Rallycross Championship is big now. So you end up, even in race 2, with drivers like Larsen and Genet and Niertisch and Block. Gronholm learning his trade too, of course. Look for the ready to race sign on the left. There it is. That will go out. And you're looking for the green lights next, as are the drivers. Saw a tiny little nudge there from Larsen, but Niertisch's got away nicely on the inside. So Genet's going to try and shut the door on. Larsen's trying to come through the gap. Larsen, I think, is going to go Joker. He does. Locks one wheel, follows Genet in. Gronholm's gone, and Ken Block, was that a last-minute decision,
I think it was
guy?
brain block. It just, oh no, he's got a problem. He's pulled off in the background. It just looked to stall the car, and I didn't know if he was indecision, getting a late call from the spotter or what was going on. Nevertheless, race on here. I think the three that went the Joker, I think Grunholm and Larsen will be ruining that decision, to be honest. Larson's all over the back of Genet.
You've got to commit, haven't you? Because it's fast down there. It's not.
Yes.
It's not somewhere that's easy. There's Ken Block. What a shame. And importantly, of course, Guy, we've got Backwood sitting top of the standings. He's won all 3 qualifying sessions so far, and then you see that happen. It's a development year. Would that make you nervous as a teammate?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. You know, you just got to get on. This is racing. At the end of the day, it's motorsport. We know things can happen, so you know he won't be bothered by that.
It'll make the fans nervous, won't it? The Backer and Baby Blue fan club will be hoping the same doesn't happen to Andreas, who so far is absolutely smashing it this weekend.
I'm sure the engineers are a bit twitchy, actually, more than anyone.
Yeah, Larson all over the back of Genet. Genet and Larson with really different lines down through the corner at the bottom of the hill. There is the gap, Nitish through to Genet, and at the minute, looks like they wouldn't get done on the Joker. So
Nitish out front, clean air. He was the only one that didn't really Joker on the first lap, wasn't he?
Is he going to go now? Nitish into the Joker lap, so they think the gap is close enough that the guys might close down. Out comes Rainis. He's going to want to merge in front of the guys. And the computer was pretty much right. Look at that.
Yes,
very good decision from the spotters there. So they've had a look at the times and decided that that needed to be done to block the guys off behind. Genet and Larson fast.
Just proves those graphics are actually accurate. If the drivers obviously don't make a mistake in the last bit approaching the Joker, you know, don't lose time. It's at 0.199.
And
that's what it was.
About
yeah,
bang
it was
on.
pretty
It's about bang on.
Yeah.
Couple of the spotters yesterday, very interesting, not even really looking at the picture. So they have the same pictures you guys have, they have the same timing screen that we have up in commentary, but they're just timing for a gap as they pass something on the track using a stopwatch and looking to see if they can make the move using a Joker lap.
Yes, it's one of those things that, you know, it's very quick to make a decision here because a lot of the track, half the track is actually out of sight, so it's very difficult for the spotters to get a good visibility, a good location to stand and actually see the whole track.
Rainis Nitish is on the final lap and in the lead. Nice tactics from them, on board with the Latvian. There he is. He's been testing various different bits at the track in Riga, which is going to feature later on in the season. Nitish has got new tyres on one side of the car, and it seems to have done the trick. Checkered flag. Genet in second, Larson. This might get Nitish up into the semi-finals. It's a decent time. Only a couple of tenths, it looked like, behind Marken. So Marken had gone quickly, and Nitish has gone very well as well. Here's the result then, 242.2 for the Latvian. Genet in second place, Robin Larson third, Niklas Gronholm block with a DNF, and then slotting in, you can see Nitish is right there behind Anton Marken. So Marken's still at the top of the table, Gronholm in sixth, Ken Block down in eighth. I think he's going to be out. Well, this is on board down towards turn one with Rainis Nitish. You can see the 15 in the bottom right-hand side of his screen. Past him, everybody piling in. And look at Block, tiny bit of contact there, Guy.
Yeah, just got in the back of Nitish's car there, and I think he's maybe broken a
we saw
steering arm
Ken with his phone down there taking photos. So
he'll be trying to send some information back to the team, or he'll be on Facebook or Twitter.
Yeah, he might well be, but he's the master of it. Genet and Larson with a locked front wheel, having looked down at the bottom, one wheel up over those big curbs on the inside. But this is an impressive time for Nick. You say 2 tyres on the left-hand side. We know that's because of the circuit direction, but the Ibiza's going well. Yeah,
he was very, very smooth. Well done to him.
Fantastic job, Rainis. I'm really pleased afterwards. All smiles and all full of thank yous. Will it be enough to see him in the semi-finals? Race 3, Q4, on the line and ready to go. Johan Kristoffersson, the EKS teammates then, Matthias Ekström, championship leader with Topi Heikkinen, Yannis Baumanis and Kevin Eriksson. Watch for the lights on the left-hand side. Great to be able to see them. It gives you a good idea of what the drivers are looking at. Here we go, ready to race, revs up, anti-lag on. The EKS teammates have been keen to avoid each other on the way down to turn one. It's a very even start. Kristoffersson, Heikkinen drops out. Ekström, I think, is going to go Joker. He does. Ekström, Joker, and Kevin Eriksson trying to go all the way around the outside of him. Kevin Eriksson gets pushed wide this time into the bank. Baumanis and Ekström with a little bit of contact there, but the EKS cars, that looked planned to me, Guy.
Yeah, it did. Well, Ekström actually got the better start, but Ekström needed to make that stick. Kevin Eriksson was trying to go all the way around the outside, and Ekström was just firm, completely fair. He was saying, no way,
and just ran him
I'm having this line.
Ran him a bit wide on the exit, which was perfect. Kristoffersson on brand new rubber. He's going to want to make a decent fist of this one as well. Look at the grip he's got.
Yeah, Toppy has to close the gap on the back of Kristoffersson and really hold on to his shirt tails. Johan, like I said before, he's not been completely happy with the setup of the car all weekend. Now he is desperate to make a good fist of it.
I thought Toppy then was going to go to the Joker lap, but he didn't. He went deep, took a very, very late line. There are alternative lines in the hairpin at turn 1.
I think Toppy will be just hoping that Johan is quick and he can hold on to the back. They'll both Joker at the same time, I think. Unless Toppy gets on right on the back.
Look at the gap already. It seems to me like they're closing them down. Baumanis as well.
He's getting on the back of Ekström. He's giving him the hurry along. This is good stuff.
Kristoffersson and Heikkinen have yet to Joker. If you're new to Rallycross, it's 4 laps in qualifying. One of those has to be the alternative Joker lap if they're approaching now at the end of the straight. We were looking at the jump at the start. There it is. Neither of them's done it. They're both going to have to do it. Top left of your screen, the tick means they've taken the Joker. The cross means they haven't. And they need that gap. It's around, what, 3.8 do we think it is here?
Yeah, but Ekström's actually the quickest on track at the moment. He's doing 38.3s. Obviously, Kristoffersson's doing a 38.69, so almost 7.
So 3/4 tenths.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, here we go.
Here it is at the minute, Kristoffersson 3.8, and Ekström will get the overlap according to this, so you can see then.
On both of them, remember, because obviously Kristoffersson leading the race, that is what is the all-important thing.
And they're tight together, aren't they? Heikkinen's right with him. Here we go into the Joker lap. Heikkinen obviously won't want to merge with his teammate. I don't think he's going to have to worry about it, because I think Ekström's going to come out in front. Is the graphic going to be right? It certainly is. It's close behind Baumanis, though. Baumanis with an off. Very, very tricky on the gravel section. Lights the throttle up, trying to go around the outside. Taps Ericsson on the exit of the corner. But this was all about Ekström.
Yeah, it was. He kept his head the whole way. But Kristoffersson's pace has gone up because he actually closed that gap down. That was a lot closer to what the merge said it was going to be. So Ekström looked very, not tentative, he looked careful, measured in that first corner just to make sure he did not overcook it in there. Obviously, now he's come out in front, one more lap to go.
He's got the flag. Ekström's won it, so Ekström's done it. Ekström with the checkered flag.
Indeed he had. I was looking up there at the picture and didn't actually see the guy holding the flag.
The flag in the corner. You're right, Guy. You're not out there racing this weekend. You can miss the flag. Matthias Ekström with a 2:40.6, and that means that he's going to go top, so it's a couple of seconds quicker. Markland's time, they're not looking quite so hot. Now these guys are out. Kristoffersson, Heikkinen, there you go. So Markland slotting into 3rd place is still good. Nitish is in 5th. That's not bad either. And, of course, we've just got 1 race to go. So another 5 drivers still to post their Q4 time.
Matthias, you held your nerve there right to the end. Congratulations.
Thanks you. It was an important heat for us. Managed to get a decent first lap in and good lap times, and just came out of Johan, which was important for the rankings.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Here's a rear shot of the start. Very even between them. Watch for who goes to the Joker. You see Heikkinen makes a decision very early, doesn't he? As you say, you felt he'd lost the start, and so then you might as well not lose any more time in the fight, which was up in the Joker.
Yeah, he slotted in behind, but what you saw there, that was absolutely Ekström, the racer coming out there. He knew, right, OK, if I bottle this, I'm going to lose position and time. I need to make this stick. And it was his line to take. Obviously, Kevin was trying to come around the outside of him, and it was completely fair.
Kevin actually got him there yesterday, so it's Ekström returning it. It's 1-1 up in the Joker lap to those guys. And then set about hunting them down, so we knew this was going to be close. So you said Kristoffersson was a little bit closer than what the predictor graphic said, so Kristoffersson obviously put in a good Joker lap and Baumanis with the problem.
Yeah, it just seemed very strange. I don't know what happened there. The car was working fine, it appeared.
Nice recovery at least. Big sideways one up behind Ericsson. Couldn't quite get back past. No such problems for Ekström taking the flag. Final race of Q4. Is Backerud going to get the first ever clean sweep in World RX? There he is on the inside. 9-time world champion Sebastian Loeb next to him. Timurs Yarnov absolutely flying this weekend. The double European Supercar champion back on form. Peter Solberg, the double world champion in Rallycross. And of course the reigning champion at home with the championship runner-up, Timmy Hansen, next to him. That is quite the grid. Thumbs up, gets the thumbs up from me as well. Everybody reaching forward to hit the switches they need to. Then it'll be full throttle, revs up. It's a really, really, really long hold, but nobody jumps to start on the inside. It's backward and low, but Solberg looks to have got the best start of everyone. Solberg's going to try and move across, but go straight to the joke lap. Backward on the anchors, gets the car turned in, and within the Peugeot Hansen teammates have gone. So we got Sebastian Loeb and Hansen have gone to follow backward.
Yeah, Timizanov just gave Petter a gentle nudge on the brakes there. You know, I don't think there was any malice really, but you know, it could have caused Petter just to go wide, and he did have a sniff up the inside, but backward exactly where he wants to be. You know, he's wanted to win 4 out of 4 qualifying sessions.
But amazing if he gets it done.
When he's on at this point.
It would be amazing if he gets it done. We thought Petter was on for it down at Linden Hill, and then he backed it off, he said, to save the tyres, but couldn't save the tyres. We saw that he'd worn them out by the final. So Backward's going to have to balance overuse of the tyres, and we know this place is big on tyre degradation and trying to win all 4 sessions. We've
just missed it then, but next time round, let's watch the focus around this first corner. Is so well balanced and it comes out so straight nearly every single time. The Peugeot's just seesawing a little bit and struggling to keep the car completely balanced.
Hansen with a mistake. Yeah, Hansen with a mistake. We saw Backward down the hairpin there just with a little touch on the handbrake. So these are the 2 corners in particular, Guy, that you're talking about.
Yeah, watch this one here. Little tug on the handbrake, get it going, and watch how straight we get the reverse shot. All 3 of them are driving really nice lines. Petter carrying a little bit of sideways drift down
into the Joker. Backward's gone Joker now. So Backward's gone Joker now. He's trying to protect and refine. Fastest lap of the day. Backward's going to come out in front of Solberg. Job done there. Now he needs to push on. And of course, that's great for him because look where Solberg is. Have the Peugeots left it too late, Guy? And when they merge, they're going to have to face Solberg.
And they'll have a fight on their hands. That's what they'll have more importantly. So he's just trying to get out clean and try and gap Petter now. So it's important from here, over this crest, round over the left, down into the hairpin right and back up to the start finish. Andreas really wants to try and get a gap, which he's doing right now.
He's so close as well to the Peugeots. We know the Peugeots are going to have to joker on this one. Here we go then. On board with Andreas Backward. He comes up over the jump. We're on board with him. Watching for them going into the joke lab. I don't think you're going to need the graphic to tell you that they're not going to get the job done. Backward comes through, and Solberg is going to beat Loeb. He does, and Hansen's going to slot into 5th place. Timizanov goes through as well. Timizanov getting Loeb a little tap. Out front, this is Backward. Down the bottom, this is the important time. 2:40.6. If Backward beats that, it's the first time ever in World RX that someone has won all 4 qualifying sessions, and he'll be doing it at home.
It's going to be amazing noise, isn't it, at the finish if he does?
It will indeed. Here we go. Watch the clock. He's got just a few seconds to go. On the gas, I kind of want him to do it. Up towards the start-finish line, over the jump.
Smashed it.
He's done it. 2:38.9. Backward, the first time ever, wins all 4 qualifying sessions at a World RX event. That is a fantastic, dominant job at home. His rival, Petter Solberg, just behind him. Look forward to seeing the semi-finals here later on today. Brilliant, brilliant stuff from the Norwegian. Here's the result. Backer at 2:38.9, then a 2:40.3 for Solberg, Loeb, Timizanov, Hansen in 5th place. And where do they slot in? So top 2 for Backer and Solberg, the Norwegians, battling it out at home for round 5 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship.
Andreas, congratulations. Yes, you are the boss. You have won all 4 qualifying this weekend. You are the first person to do it.
Well, what can I say? It has been a brilliant weekend. Once again, big thanks to all our sponsors and the car manufacturers and everyone involved in it. You know, we're still a team in development, and we still have a semi to drive. Hopefully we can be in the final fighting there. This track gets normally a lot of drama and lots of crashing and banging. We saw that last year, so try to avoid problems and trouble. So yeah, hopefully we can do the same in the next 2, like semi-final and final. Oh, I'm just so stoked right now, you know.
Okay, well, let's hope this is your weekend. It looks like it.
Thank you so much.
Off the line, this is on board with Backer down to turn 1, Guy.
Yeah, just such a good start, so clean. Obviously, Petter going to the joke with Timizanov there. You see a little bit of contact, but he was just so clean. He has been all weekend. I mean, he's had 4 fastest qualifying times, which we know, but he's got the fastest lap. Definitely in that one. I'll have to check back and see if he has it in the others as well. I'm pretty sure he does.
He's making it look easy, and it's not. That's important to note, isn't it?
He's keeping a level head with the amount of home support pressure he has here, which that is the most impressive thing. You might have expected him to drop, you know, 1 qualifying session, maybe make a little mistake, just being over-eager.
And
he
also,
hasn't.
I kind of thought maybe, do you know what? I've won 3. I know I'm going through. He's going to go TQ. That was almost a given. Do you roll off and save the tyres? But then, no, actually, he's okay. He's not even using the tyres that hard.
When you're in a good zone, you don't want to. You just want to keep going and driving that car as hard as possible up until you win. It's going to be a cracking end to the weekend, isn't it?
I can't wait. Cannot wait. Well, here are the standings then after the 4 qualifying sessions. A clean sweep for Andreas Bakker. Timers Yarnov goes through in P2. Best performance from him for a long time. Loeb is 3, Solberg 4. Then Hansen, Ekström, Johan Kristoffersen and Yannis Baumanis. Heikkinen, Larsen, Nittish has made it up into the semis. Genet just as well. Kevin Eriksson, Ken Block, Anton Markland and Niklas Gronholm will go no further this weekend in Norway. Well, ahead of the RX Lights final here in Norway, let's have a look at the championship standings as we arrive here. After round 3, Cyril Raymond, of course, taking the win last time out in the UK. Thomas Brinterson, the 2 previous wins. Both those guys, in fact, winning after they'd rolled. Hopefully nobody be rolling here. We can have a look at the grid for the final of round 4 of the RX Lights Cup. Cyril Raymond, the winner last time out on pole. Thomas Brinterson in second in the championship, second on the grid. Tejas Hirani, Simon Olofsson, Joachim Wahl and Henrik Krogstad. You can hear the local commentator shouting ready to race. The marshals have got everybody lined up against the jump start markers. And these guys, of course, are the future of the sport. So far, they certainly have been. The past 2 champions have gone on to race World Supercar. Kevin Hansen and Kevin Eriksson. Is one of these guys going to be in the Supercar in the near future? And who's going to make it down to turn 1 first? Even start, looks like a good start for Olofsson on the outside. Hirani's going to try and come through the gap in the middle, but Cyril Raymond's covering off the inside. I reckon Brinterson might go joker. Contact between Brinterson. He goes into the joker lap. Sideways with Olofsson. Brinterson somehow gets through, but Cyril Raymond who leads on the main lap. Guy, I wasn't sure if those 2 both chose to go there or ended up there.
No, Brinterson probably got a late call, assuming, got a late call from his spotter because Hirani had done a great job of getting on the back of Cyril Raymond. There was no way Brinterson was going to come in that train. It was literally joined the 2 RMC cars there.
Yeah, so no gap, no way to slot into it. Raymond through the left-hander, young French driver who's been backed by the French Federation. He's won pretty much everything in Rallycross at home. He has won the Twingo Cup. He's won the Twingo Super 1600s. And moves on now to racing lights. And we see Wahl go through to the joker lap, slotting out of traffic, and Brinterson is on the chase in the barrier. So, Guy, both these chaps have rolled a car at the previous 2 events and then gone on to win. This time, no such dramas for them. We did have one of the drivers rolling, but Raymond and Brinterson, yeah, they're separated by 3 championship points. It's a tight fight between them. They're both very fast.
You know, every circuit that they go to with the RX Lights, you know those 2 are going to be at the sharp end. They always have a weekend-long ding-dong fight. And it's always great to watch because these cars are so evenly matched. All the cars are identical. Yes, you can change the damper settings, you can play with the roll bar settings, but ultimately the power plant and the gear ratios are all picked. So, you know, they're fighting in very even cars. That's why the racing is always so close and always so exciting to watch.
Krogstad goes into the joker and slots out behind. So at the minute, Brinterson is the leader of the drivers who've been on the jokers, because we've just seen Krogstad's gone in. It's going to come down to a race definitely between Brinterson and Raymond. You can see on the left-hand side there, Raymond and Hirani are the 2 that haven't taken their jokers. I spoke to Tejas Hirani. He was really happy to have been line P3 yesterday when I caught up with him. Felt it was a better performance. And Raymond, a nice guy as well. These things as well, Guy, not that easy to drive. So I spoke to Dan Rook, the British Rallycross Championship leader at the minute in a supercar, and he drove one of these at Lyden. He said it was harder than a supercar because of the accuracy that you need to make it go quickly.
Yeah, we just seen Tejas Hirani get slightly wide on the joker there, bring it back in a second. He's run wide all the way around the joker then, so look at the merge now. Oh, he's lost out, he has, and he's wide again, sideways. Seems to just got rattled. Cyril Raymond was just dropping him just progressively, and that might have got to his head.
Brinterson now is
down the inside. Hirani's lost position again.
Oh,
Hirani might lose another one.
Going backwards, and he's going to lose traction on the way up the hill. Rejoins, and I think you're right. Wahl's having a look. Hirani shuts the door. That's quite brave. But Wahl is over the back of him as well. So Tejas Hirani, just as I was saying, going well. But yeah, really hard cars to drive accurately. You cannot make a little mistake because there isn't the power. I mean, 300 horsepower, still a lot of grunt, but yes, it's not 600.
And 4-wheel drive as well. So it actually, it is a lot of horsepower, but naturally aspirated as well, so not masses of torque. You can't make mistakes. It's almost like the Super 1600 cars, but with more traction. You have to be pinpoint accurate. You have to have measured entry speed, really good mid-corner and excellent exit corner speed. You cannot afford to trip up at any point. And that's what makes these guys so good. And as you've seen, Kevin Hansen obviously progress up into supercars, and obviously Kevin Eriksson progress up into supercars. Those guys can drive, you know, and obviously, like you're saying, you have to be neat, you have to be smooth. It is so important to be so clean.
Raymond into the joke lap on the last lap. He's been clean so far. Has he done enough to beat Brinderson? Brinderson through the standard lap, and Brinderson's got the overlap. So Thomas Brinderson, from the start of the race, jokering early, has put in some fantastic laps there, Guy.
Yeah, he has. He's flatlined on 40s really after his joker in the first lap, and that is what the difference is. He's done a 40.8, a 40.7, a 40.7 and a 40.57.
Wow, so really, and again, exactly what we were saying, super accurate, super consistent. Brinderson has just 2 corners to go. His title rival Raymond is just behind him through the right-hander. Brinderson won at Hockenheim and at Belgium. He takes his 3rd win of the season in Norway. Cyril Raymond, who leads the championship, is 2nd. And in 3rd place, Olofsson crossing the line. Krogstad, Hirani and Val. So Hirani, I think, could have been on for a podium there, but didn't quite work out in his favour. The fans enjoying that. That's quite a lot of Norway flags, isn't it? And they'll be pleased with that. Thomas Brinderson on the top step of the podium. Cyril Raymond 2nd, Olofsson is 3rd. Henrik Krogstad, good performance from the newcomer. Hirani and Val, the championship points are down the right-hand side. And we should be able to have a look at some of the action from the race.
Watch here, Brinderson. He sees, probably gets a call now, but he knows he's even with Cyril Raymond, so he didn't really have an option. Hirani was straight in the back. Bit of contact in the joker there with Brinderson, but Brinderson knew it was very important to get out of there and go. Cyril Raymond did a great job, but just wasn't quite quick enough. And Hirani probably thought he was in the game, but he was getting dropped just ever so slightly every lap. Probably sank into his head, and he probably let it get to him.
Well, the mistake in the joker lap, of course, then led to a mistake at the bottom of the hill. So Hirani going back was not ideal for him, but you know, still a good result. But I think this one's going to come down to Raymond and Brinderson, with Brinderson taking his 3rd win of the year. Raymond then still leading the championship, but just by 1 point from Brinderson. Val is in 3rd place. Great job by Brinderson closing that gap. It was 3 points. It's now down to 1.
So we're down in the World RX Team Austria garage. Now we've got Yannis here. Yannis, qualifying for you in Q4 wasn't exactly what you wanted, but it's got you through to the semis in 8th position.
Yeah, I was P6 after the 3rd qualification, so P8 after qualification 4. I get some small mistake and small contacts with other drivers, so yeah, a little bit bad luck, but still we are in the semi-final and row 2, so it's very nice.
Well, still unfazed into the semi-finals. The chances are still there for you. The battles are quite hard this weekend, though.
Yeah, of course, and if you watch on other races, then it's always some contacts, and you cannot escape in rallycross for that one, so everything could happen in the semi-final. And if you look back for the 2015, then it was incredible semi-final, especially for my teammate Timothy Merziano and other drivers, so you never know what will happen in hell.
You never know what will happen in hell. Now this is your first full season as well with part of the World Supercars, so how are you finding it? How are you feeling your season's going so far?
Yeah, no, it's one of the races where we are both cars in the top 6 almost all of the time, and now I am P8 and Timur is in P2, so it's great that we show that team potential and everything what is happening. It's just brilliant. So yeah, I'm really glad that non-factory team can compete with Peugeot and Ford, and also really experienced drivers as Audi, as Ekstrom and all other people who is here. So it's just brilliant to be over them, and they come into pre-grid area and say that it's just why you are doing this? I feel old, like, and something like that. So it's just brilliant that we can compete with these guys.
Fantastic, Yannis. We'll let the battle commence now. Let's move over to his stablemate, which is Timur. Just having a look inside his car right now. Currently enjoying a very, very successful weekend, aren't you, Timur?
Hello. Yeah, it's really good for me to come back for the position 2. It's I think it's a great after all 2 seasons what I spent there and never been so close to the first guys.
Now there's no doubt that Andros is going to make that battle hard in the semi-finals and the finals for you.
Yeah, but in the end will be only the battling in the final if it will happen now. If I come and he will be in the final, it's just we can decide who will win the race in the final only.
Now this weekend you've certainly found a lot of form. Everybody's asking what's happened this weekend.
No, nothing. I think it's the progress which we're coming, and we try to find the speed. And in the end, this is the track which is really good for me. This is a track which is really suited for my car, and we try to drive as fast as possible, but a little bit dust on the track, and it's taking the time from the back behind of the drivers.
Now Hell, obviously an amazing circuit. The crowds absolutely love it. What's it like with the crowds here?
Yeah, every time when I'm standing in the start, I'm looking for this crowd, and it's all these thousands of eyes is looking for the grid, for the start line, and it's amazing.
We wish you luck, Timur.
Thank you so much. Good luck, everybody. Thank you.
Welcome to Hell, where it's actually a very nice weekend indeed. We have seen some absolutely brilliant action so far, and we've still got the semi-finals and the final to come. Quick stat for you before we get going. Only 10 people have ever won a World Rallycross Championship event, and 9 of them are in the semi-finals here. The other one's Tanner Faust. He's in America, so we can forgive him that. Very much looking forward to seeing the semis. Here is how we got to where we are now. So Bakkerud winning all 4 qualifying sessions, 16 championship points for that. Brilliant performance by him. Timur Zyanov a return to form. Then we've got Loeb, Solberg, Hansen, Ekström, Kristoffersen, Baumanis, Heikkinen, Larsen, Nittisch and Genet are your top 12. Eriksson, Block, Marken and Gronholm missed out. As always, the odds go to semi-final 1 and the evens to semi-final 2. So we've got Bakkerud, the home favourite, on pole in semi-1, and we've got Timur Zyanov on pole in semi-2. Well, Kiri Blore is reporting from the paddock today, and she was down in the pre-grid just earlier on, and she caught up with our poleman, Andreas Bakkerud.
Andreas, it is what they call the perfect weekend so far.
Yeah, but it's still a long way to go, you know. It's just the heats, now the drama starts, all the banging. Everyone wants those 3 tickets into the final in one of the semi-finals, so and from there on it's hard to get on the podium. So, you know, keep the feet on the ground, and hopefully we can be up there fighting and hopefully get on the podium.
Well, someone that's not keeping their feet on the ground are your baby blue fans. They're certainly willing you along.
Yeah, they are crazy. They are absolutely lovely, every one of them. So it's very good for me to have them here. They have been with me all my career, and basically they are the reason why I'm here and speaking with you.
Now, it is certainly going to be a tough race. In terms of your tyre wear, how critical are they going to be through the semi-finals?
Well, we have been very, very good so far. We haven't, so right now we put on the new tires, and I've seen the other competitors have been using them already. So we have fresh rubber, we're ready.
Okay, let the battle commence.
Oh, yes.
Well, let the battle commence indeed. Here is what we've got coming up for you in the next hour. First of all, as always, we have the World RX Supercar semi-finals live. The top 3 will go through, of course, to the final. We've got the live Euro RX Supercar final for you. Kevin Hansen has been dominant so far this weekend. And then we have the live World RX final for round 5 of the World Rallycross Championship. Can Bakkerud do it at home? We will see. My name is Andrew Coley. Alongside me is Guy Wilkes. We are looking forward to semi-final 1. I'm sure you guys are too. Here is the lineup for the first of the semi-finals. On pole with a clean sweep of qualifying, Andreas Bakkerud. Next to him, the legend, Sebastian Loeb. Row 2, Timmy Hansen, 1 hit last year. Kristoffersen, can he shake off the bad luck he's had this season? And row 3, Topi Heikkinen and Reinis Nittisch, who won here, of course, a couple of years ago. Absolutely fantastic lineups for the semi-finals. Bakkerud's had this so far, but Loeb has looked quick too. We've got tyre news for you in a little while. We can let you know who's on new boots and who isn't, but we'll save it for after the start because this is going to be fantastic. Here we go, ready to race. The lights are out. We're green in Norway and Bakkerud away from the line. Sees we've got bad Wilfried. Hansen is right up beside him. Loeb goes alongside down towards turn 1. Bakkerud backs the pack up. Heikkinen into the back of Loeb. Kristoffersen out to the joke lap. Sebastian Loeb. Sorry, so it's Loeb, it's Hansen. Hansen up the inside of Heikkinen. Hansen passes Heikkinen. Christophersen now looking up the inside too. Heikkinen's run wide. And in fact, it was Loeb who's gone to the joker lap.
Yeah, that was a pity for Toby Heikkinen from the back of the grid. He had a chance, he had to take it, but he got pushed from the inside all the way to the outside on turn 3. But he has really got to get the hammer down and cling onto the back of Johan Christophersen now, whose pace has not been as good as he really wanted all weekend. So we've got a race on already.
We have got a race on indeed. Andreas Backerud leading from Timmy Hansen. Hansen being very, very firm indeed. Heikkinen getting dumped down to 4th. Is anybody going to go to the joker on this lap? No, not so far. So these 4 are all in a line. Sebastian Loeb's nearly on the back of this pack already, guys.
Yeah, I noticed that as well, just as you said it, he's nailed his joker. He's absolutely got a flyer. He's on used tyres, actually, funnily enough. Go through the tyres now. Sebastian Loeb, 4 used. Andreas Backerud is on 4 times scrub tyres. He's used them in morning warmer this morning. That is all. Johan Christophersen, Toby Heikkinen and Nittish all on 4 used tyres. Timmy Hansen, we've been told, is on new.
What has Backerud done is several of these drivers have managed to get through the whole of qualifying, basically using 1 set of tyres. Backerud wins all 4 qualifying sessions on 1 set of tyres. Absolutely outrageous performance. Is anybody going to joker? They've all remained where they were, and the gap back to Loeb at the minute is 4.9. So Fella's gone up slightly, Backerud into turn 2.
Yeah, but it's only Backerud that's really getting ahead of him. Everybody else, Hansen, Christophersen and Heikkinen, are going to drop behind Loeb because their gap is really under 4 seconds.
Yep, so they're in danger. They are in danger. So Loeb could be moving up at the minute. Backerud's the only guy then who's got... Is he gapping Hansen a little bit?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, and it's also getting dusty as well. But tyre management, do you really have it in rallycross? It's 6 laps and they have to do a final after this, but they want to make sure they get there. Top 3 go through, so that's what we're racing for.
And when you think about Lydden Hill, Guy, I mean, you know, really, as you say, there aren't that many laps. Well, there we go, Heikkinen into the joke lap. We saw a clear difference between Solberg and Ekstrom. Loeb goes through straight away, so Heikkinen's going to get dumped right to the back, possibly. Heikkinen, oh! Heikkinen goes sideways to avoid Nittish. He's going to go over the curbs. Those curbs are massive. That's going to smash the bottom of the car. Heikkinen rides the curbs, drops into 6th place. Nittish now on the outside. Nittish has dropped it on the brakes. Heikkinen goes up the inside. Nittish in the loose stuff. He's on the gas, going to try and hold on, but he loses out.
Yeah, lots of action at the back of the field here, but it's going to be at the front of the field where the real action is. We're waiting for Christophersen, Hansen and Backerud to joker.
Over the jump at the finish line. Backerud, Hansen, Christophersen.
He's in.
Right
Backerud's
there.
in.
Backerud goes in now, so they think Backerud's got enough time, and they're worried obviously that Loeb is gaining. Backerud's going to drop down to 3rd, but he's looking at Loeb behind. Out he comes in front. Very nicely done, Guy. Good decision.
Good decision, but Backerud is quite clearly the fastest man on track. He's knocking in 38-second dead lap times, so nobody's really getting within... Well, OK, Timmy Hansen has just done one within 1.5 tenths, but before that it was 3 tenths a lap.
Absolutely flying. He's absolutely flying. We're on board with Backerud now. You can see the number 13 reflecting off the screen. No bad luck so far this weekend. He will be desperate to hold on and take the win here. No Norwegian has ever won their home round of the World Rallycross Championship. Backward over the jump behind Christophersen. Hansen into the joke lap. Christophersen goes through as well. So backward on stand lap. Loeb goes through. This is for a place in the final. And Hansen comes out in front of Loeb, so Hansen has just got his teammate Loeb. Hansen stops out in front. It's the Rallycross boys leading the rally legend down the hill. Loeb applying the pressure.
Remember, Hansen was on better tyres and he made them count, definitely. I had a look at Sebastian Loeb's tyres before and they weren't the greatest. Nevertheless, Hansen's made them count. He's come out in front of him.
Great job, Timmy Hansen, with his tyre management and strategy this weekend, but nobody has got near Backerud so far. He's won all 4 qualifying sessions. Andreas Backerud comes over the jump and he takes victory in semi-final number 1 in Norway in front of his home crowd. They will be ecstatic at that. He's got 1 more win to go to seal the dream result. Backerud from Hansen and Loeb. There he is on board, Guy. Oh, microphone in from the local commentator straight away. He's looking relaxed, but all the same, the pressure is still to come. Here's the result of semi-final number 1. Backerud takes the win and 6 championship points. Hansen in 2nd, Sebastian Loeb in 3rd. Then it's Christophersen, Heikkinen and Rainis Nittish going no further this weekend. So 3 very quick drivers heading through. Kiri's in the spotters town. She's with the team.
Dave, Andreas certainly is mounting up the perfect weekend.
Yeah, it's been perfect so far. Just 1 more job to do. Maximum championship points at the moment, so yeah, all for the final now.
Left the joker lap quite late on.
Yeah, just to make sure that we had 1 left in the tank, just in case anything goes wrong on the joker lap, but leave it a little bit so that the cars behind don't catch up too close, then we don't get in anyone else's dust.
Okay, fantastic, thank you.
Cheers.
Well, Dave Mansfield looking quite relieved there, Guy.
Yeah, he is indeed. I spoke to Andreas and Dave just before when they were on the pre-grid, and Andreas, when he gets nervous, he gets like a boxer. He can't stand still, and he was really nervous. So, you know, from the outside of the car, you cannot tell it, though. He's making no mistakes. He's driving fantastically, but there was a hell of a race behind, wasn't there?
Hansen was absolutely ruthless there, out of turn one, on the inside of Häkkinen, just out of the way, and that really helped him. And of course, that dump, yeah, he did, because otherwise Bakker was just going to drive into the distance. Häkkinen quick through the Joker lap there.
And obviously, Johan Kristoffersson, you know, we're seeing an incident on screen here. I mean, like you said, those curbs are brutal. That'll have caused massive damage to the underside of the car. But, you know, Kristoffersson is usually so quick, and he just hasn't been able to get quite on the pace. Great driver.
They thought they'd have it this weekend.
Further.
Spoke to them earlier on this weekend, and Kristoffersson, they felt they'd had a problem at Lyden, which had limited their pace, and then came here, and it didn't quite work out. Tommy looking disappointed after FP1. There's a man, though, who won't be disappointed. Bakkerud taking the win. Well, Kiri is down, I'm guessing, on the pre-grid, and I think she is with Petter Solberg, the world champion, competing at home.
Petter, just moments away from your semi-final. I'm sure you know what Andra stood out there, so the battle is certainly on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very hard battle. You know, we have been fighting very hard to come to this semi-final in the first row, but I'm ready. It's not over yet, but Bakker have been fantastic this weekend, so we really have to fight hard if we're going to have a chance to win here.
And I can see the temperature is certainly rising in your car at the moment.
Yeah, that's no problem.
No problem indeed. Thank you. We wish you luck.
Thanks.
Well, Solberg will want to beat everyone, but he will, of course, particularly want to beat Andreas Bakkerud. Latvian flag up on top of the Monster Energy rig. Mostly, though, it's Norwegian flags we're going to see here. Are they going to be waving at the end of the weekend? Pre-grid for semi-final number 2. Guy, you know, coming up towards it, how are you feeling at this point?
Well, obviously you're anxious, you know, it's semi-final time, you want to get to the final, but you can't look too far ahead of yourself. You've got to concentrate, like we've said, 6 cars on the grid, staggered grid, like normal racing. You have to make it count. It's top 3 that go through. But like we've said, you know, in this race, actually, Timur Timurzianov is on pole, and his pace has just jumped up dramatically. The World RX Team Austria guys, his teammate Jānis Baumanis, also, his pace has been good this year, but both of them this weekend have been so good. And they actually have fresh tyres to use. So
I'm staggered at that. How are they managing? Because they're both aggressive drivers. How are they managing to save the tyres?
Funnily enough, actually, they both said to me they have to smooth out their driving style to make this car work more efficiently. They've only just started to realise that now, and the tyres are really good.
Well, Kerry has managed to grab a hold of Robin Larsson ahead of semi-final number 2, so we can go and have a chat with him now.
Okay, now we're just grabbing a second with Robin, but I think that Robin needs to go out now, so that's Robin Larsson. The pressure certainly mounting for the semi-finals, but I think it's time for them to get onto that grid.
So Larsson then just pulling out of the interview at the last minute. That's fair enough. We know these guys are under an enormous amount of pressure. Timurzianov versus Solberg down to turn 1. What do you think Solberg will do? Because Timurzianov, you know, Timurzianov hasn't been right at the sharp end for quite a while, but do you avoid him? Do you want to go wide?
I think Petter might go straight Joker.
So, you know, Solberg, you know the way you race drivers and you start to know their characteristics. You know what Hansen's going to do. You know what Extra's going to do roughly. You have an idea in your head of who's a risk and who isn't. Suddenly they've got a wild card, haven't they? They've got Timur as suddenly
a loose cannon, you're trying to say?
Yeah, loose cannon.
It's always good to have drivers think of you that way, that you're not predictable and you will never do the same thing all the time. Put a bit of doubt in their mind.
This was Häkkinen on the merge. Häkkinen there, basically, he's just being a gentleman trying to avoid hitting Nittish, and he's come out of there with a lot of momentum, hoping to be on the inside of Nittish, and has come out
Knew it wasn't
behind him.
Exactly, knew it wasn't going to happen from a long way back, threw it sideways, tried to scrub the speed off, maybe hoping Nittish was going to outbrake himself, but quite clearly that didn't happen.
All the cars are on the grid. We're nearly ready to go. Genet pulling up at the back. Can't count him out either. Larsson, the winner in Argentina. I say 9 out of 12 of the winners of an event in the World Championship ever in the semi-finals. There's only 3 guys here who haven't won before. They are Sebastian Loeb, Timur Timurzianov and Jānis Baumanis, and that is, of course, at World Championship level. Can they win this weekend? Semi-final number 2 is on the line. The air horns are starting to go off in the background, and we are pretty much good to go. Let's see the lineup. Timozianov on pole. Fantastic weekend for the double European Supercar champion who hasn't won since 2012. Petter Solberg, the double and reigning champion. Matthias Ekström, the championship leader on row 2. Janis Baumanis next to him. And on the back row, Larsen and David Genet, both event winners last season. Another fantastic lineup for what we think will be another thriller of a semi-final. The marshals are away. This is where the adrenaline really starts to pump. Is Solberg going to go to the Joker on lap 1, or is he going to dare to go head-to-head with the Russian Timozianov? Can Ekström get a great start from row 2? Looks pretty even across the line. Larsen diving towards the inside. Ekström's up behind Timozianov. Solberg's going to go to the Joker 100%. Baumanis gets pushed into possibly a spin, but holds on somehow. Ekström's up the inside of him. Hits Baumanis. Baumanis is off almost in the wall. He's going to hold on to 4th place. Slots in behind Larsen. But it's Timozianov sideways, and Ekström looks like he's going to have a look on the way down the hill. Ekström trying to go around the outside, but there's no room there, Guy.
He could have a sniff at the inside. Fantastic start by Matthias Ekström there. That team have a lot of race experience, and they are the one that's played a strange strategy to a lot of people, it would seem. 3 new tyres, 1 used tyre. They're saving 1 tyre. I know they have 1 extra tyre for the final, hoping that they get there. The 1 used tyre is on the right rear, which is the least used tyre on this track. Very clever strategy.
Timozianov into turn 1 first, Ekström with him. So remember your jokers so far, Solberg and Genet. Baumanis has just come past us. He's a long way off the back, so I think we can expect Baumanis to be out of this one. It's going to come down to the gap. Solberg trying to close it down.
Solberg is already within 4 seconds of Timozianov, so he could actually potentially, well, if Timozianov jokered now, he'd come out behind Solberg. It'd be very, very tight, but that just shows Solberg's made a cracking joker lap there from the standing start.
So Solberg on a flyer. We need to see a couple more lap times to see, can Timozianov stretch that gap and go joker later on, or is it too late? This is what we saw happen to Solberg in Lydden, of course. He thought he'd be able to stretch the gap and go later, but he couldn't. Extra
flying lap. First lap under 37 seconds, 37.7 seconds by Timozianov, so he has the hammer down.
Larsen into the joker lap, trying to get out in front of Solberg, but it's not going to happen. Solberg and Genet are both going to get him, so Larsen, who got caught up in that tangle in turn 2, drops down into 3rd place. Fastest lap of the day, as you say, Guy, 37.731.
And what that has done, it's pushed Petter Solberg outside of that 4-second, the magic 4-second window. He's actually 5 seconds off the pace now.
So you're that quick as Timozianov. The pressure's on. No win since 2012. What does he do? Does he joker early? Now he knows he's got the gap. Now he could defend from it? Or do you hold on and try and do a bit more?
Because Ekström is actually ahead of him, so I think he'll knock a few more in yet.
Timozianov round through turn 1. Guy's right, he doesn't joker on this lap.
And he might want to try to go for pole position.
Indeed.
Might set a fast time as opposed to just cover off his win or
leading at the minute.
Time.
Well, Timozianov, of course, in P2 in qualifying, more championship points. So if he wins this semi, then he'll go through to the front row alongside. Baumanis is on a go slow behind us. Petter smoking the tyres up, and again we've seen he's got the pace, but is he using the car too hard? Look at the dust too.
Yeah, I went and had a quick chat with him before this, and he looked kind of nonplussed. You know, he didn't really know which way to go. He said they tried literally everything to get the speed out of the car and himself. Just really shaking his head and said, you know, I don't know what we can do.
Look at Timo's lap times, 37.7, 37.8 and a 37.7. Timozianov is on an absolute flyer. Even Ekström can't go with him.
Exactly, that is rare.
This is a danger to Bakkerud. Timozianov, to me, is the one guy who's a danger man. At the bottom of the screen at the minute, Solberg wouldn't get past. He's saying that Timozianov's got enough. What's the gap back? Is it 6.8 back to Solberg?
Yeah, but look at the consistency. Timozianov's done a 37.7, a 37.8, a 37.7.
He's running away with it.
Exactly, and that's half a second quicker than Ekström a lap, almost a full second quicker than Petter Solberg.
Into the joke lap, sorry guys. So Timozianov goes into the joke lap. Ekström sends it in behind him. Timozianov is so tidy. This isn't even a contest. He's absolutely miles out in front. The Russian comes through in the lead. Ekström slots into 2nd place. I think Solberg's going to go through, but he's going to be at the back of the grid, Guy. So Bakkerud on the 356.2.
Yeah, we're looking for total time now, aren't we, against Bakkerud?
Solberg on board with Solberg through the hairpin at the bottom of the hill. Timozianov's just got the 2 corners to go. Through the left and then through the right. Tymosyanov sweeps around the right hand of the Russian. Double European Supercar champion takes the win in semi-final number 2 and will line up alongside Bakarud. Ekstrom in second. Solberg goes through in third place. Genet just misses out in fourth.
That was a full second quicker than Andreas Bakarud.
That is outrageous, absolutely outrageous. So Tymosyanov has finally thrown down the gauntlet to Bakarud. This is going to be a cracking fight in the final. Fantastic, goodness me! I wasn't sure Timo would have it, but you know, brand new tyres, as we said. He's done all that work in qualifying, just absolutely amazing, brilliant. Well, Kiri is up in the spotters tower, and she has managed to grab hold of Tymosyanov's team, so maybe they can give us some insight into what the Russians done this weekend.
Yeah, and that was incredible, wasn't it?
Yes, it was very crazy. So it's a very good weekend for us, and we hope in the final we have also luck like yet now.
It's going to be one of the most exciting finals.
Yes, it's the first final for Timo, so let's hope that we come to the podium.
Let you catch your breath, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Looks so nervous. Away from the line, so a pretty even start. Larson dove towards the inside. Solberg, I think, was all the way. Watch Baumanis. What happens here, Guy? He kind of turns it across Ekstrom, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. It was his fault, but he had to try it. But nevertheless, you know, Baumanis, maybe that was he had a problem later on, didn't he? Start going slowly.
Sideways, yeah.
This was a sniff. It wasn't really as. It's cut to a different shot, actually, but
I look up the inside.
Was just super smooth and super consistent. I've never seen him drive so calmly.
He was in the bar last night watching the football with us.
Yeah.
He had 2 cups of black tea with 1 sugar, if you're wondering. I don't know if that's the difference. He had no beers at all. He went to bed at half-time and watched the rest of the game and then rubbed salt in our wounds when we saw him this morning. But either way...
He did sneak back about 20 minutes later to watch it after half-time, so he hadn't necessarily gone to bed.
Good effort from Timmer. But literally drove away from Ekstrom, who's been the pace man all season.
But like I said at the start of that race, he and Yannis Baumanis told me they just have had to calm down, and then the pace, the car has started to work. Instead of forcing it, they have let the car do the work, and they're just guiding it, in inverted commas. They're obviously driving it. It takes skill at this level to do those times consistently, but they're letting the car do the work.
Tymosyanov taking the win in semi-final 2 from Matthias Ekstrom and Petter Solberg. So Solberg and Bakarud, they'll get that fight in the final they'd like. Genet, Larson and Baumanis are out. Well, I wonder if Tymosyanov can continue to be cool when it comes through to the final. He's shown that he's got the same pace as Bakarud. We know who the local crowd want to win, but Timo will have different ideas. Who's your money on then, Guy?
I don't know. Who did the local crowd want to win?
I've seen a few blue shirts around this weekend so far. Well, this was the European Rallycross Championship Supercars, of course. Second round, Kevin Hansen on the left-hand side, the semi-finals. Kevin won in Belgium, but he was equal on points with Jérôme Grosset-Janin in the yellow-coloured Albertech racing car behind him. That was because Grosset-Janin whitewashed qualifying. Outside, you see Rustad running right. We knew that Rustad had a problem with his power steering, and unfortunately that meant he didn't make the cut. He finished in 4th place. Disappointing for the local fans because he won here last year. Out front, Kevin Hansen on absolute fly. He'd won all 4 qualifying sessions here, so he'd whitewashed qualifying, and frankly, at the minute, Guy, he's looking pretty unstoppable.
Absolutely. I mean, even at World Directs in Lytton, he was flying. You know, he's just coming together. He finished 4th in the final, so, you know, URX, it's not that he's got it all his own way, but he is, you know, he's showing his class now.
He's got seat time. That's the advantage as well, isn't it? Of course, some of these guys are only doing the 5 events. This was Grosset-Janin slotting out behind Hedstrom.
And the professional team behind him as well.
A very, very professional team. This, in fact, Kevin's car here is the car which Timmy won this event in last year, so Kevin will be hoping to do the same. If you're wondering, by the way, Kevin Hansen is 18 and passed his driving test this week. So he's been driving a 600 horsepower supercar in the World Championship and said he was far more nervous about his driving test than he is before a semi-final. But he passed, luckily, and they did know who he was because he had a film crew with him, which kind of adds to the pressure. Kind of adds to the pressure. So that was semi-final number 1. Semi-final number 2, Tamas Paukis on the inside. So Paukis, an ex-GP2 racer. He's won in GP2 and he's won in Auto GP. And he did a great job here with Fredrik Selston right behind him in the red and black 2.8. Fredrik Selston, of course, the current touring car champion. A guy we've seen some action from them this weekend. Interesting that a guy can go from touring cars just as they can from Super 1600. And they both seem able to drive a supercar.
We're getting multidiscipline motorsport in this, aren't we? A lot of people are getting attracted to World Rallycross, Euro, RX. You know, it's just a great sport.
It is indeed, and it's nice that drivers can come in from these different disciplines, jump in and be competitive. It's very hard to jump in a single-seater if you've not done anything with aero. It's very hard to do rallying if you've never done place notes, but you can come and jump in a rallycross car and have a crack at it. Don't be mistaken, though. It's not easy by any means, but it is a lot of fun. Paukis proving that he was having fun out front. Selston doing well to go with him. We saw a mistake from Selston just a moment ago in the joke lap. It wasn't the tidiest joke we've ever seen, but he held on to the coattails of Paukis in front, and Paukis could possibly be a threat to Hansen. When we looked at the lap times, though, we reckoned it was 0.3 of a second roughly in Kevin Hansen's favour. Who's going to win? We'll find out soon. Well, we're waiting for the last of the cars to roll onto the grid, as are the crowd, for round 2 of the FIA European Rallycross Championship for supercars. So these guys running some of the same events, 5 events, alongside World RX. It gives drivers who've got a slightly smaller budget or are learning the trade in a supercar the chance to do 5 of the World Championship events with their own heats, their own semi-finals and their own finals. And Kevin Hansen leading the championship, won all 4 qualifying sessions, won his semi and is on pole for the final. So we'll be able to have a look at the lineup for that right now. Kevin Hansen then on pole. Can Tamas Paukis stop him? Paukis said he's been driving with slightly less power this weekend. Maybe, maybe not. Row 2, Fredrik Selston and Peter Hedström. And on row 3, Jerome Grosjean and Tord Linnerud. Can't count out Jerome Grosjean, very quick, runner-up in the championship last year behind Rustad. Rustad now in the same team as him, but not making it through to the final here, Guy. But Kevin is the form man, isn't he?
Kevin definitely is the form man. Obviously, another name from World RX there, Tord Linnerud, on the back of the grid. But Tamas Paukis, he said he had the engine turned down because it was a fresh engine, so he was just...
They worked all night, didn't they, to change it?
Yeah.
So
I'm sure he's turned the wick up now.
That's what I'm thinking. Do you turn it up for the final?
Of course you do.
I think you do. I think you risk it. He'd love to take the win from Kevin. Kevin will be disappointed, obviously, but having said that, I think he'll be leading the championship by now as he out-qualified everyone. There's points, of course, at the qualifying stages. There's Ken Block. I'm imagining that's a Snapchat or some sort of a Facebook Live or something, but great that Ken's down there doing it himself. He's invested a lot of passion into that team, and he knows what it will mean to everyone in the development year if Bakker can win. But this is all about European Rallycross Championship for supercars. Round 2 of the European Rallycross Championship for supercars about to get underway. Hansen from Paukis on the front row. Oh, Selston left behind on the start line. Jerome Grosjean starts across into 3rd place, but Kevin Hansen on the brakes early. Jerome Grosjean going to go with him. Grosjean is alongside Paukis. Grosjean pushes Paukis wide, so Grosjean from the back row of the grid said we couldn't out-discount him, and a great drive.
Good aggression. The gap was there, he took it, he got on the back of Hansen and obviously covered off the inside of the corner. Whoa, he's deep on the brakes.
He is deep on the brakes, a little bit of contact in the back of Kevin, and is that going to push Kevin wide? Jerome Grosjean trying to find the traction, wow!
Race on.
It is very much on, so Grosjean is right behind Kevin, and looks like he's got the pace on him, so do you slot out Joker now, or do you try and pass? He's wild.
He is wild. They watered that piece of track along the top there in between.
Maybe in between to keep the dust down, so there may have been a wet track, same for everyone, so these cars have been right.
Look
the cars are looking muddy, yeah. So very slippery conditions up on the top and late on the brakes, so that's it's Paukis, so Tamas Paukis has run wide, and he's going to come in behind Linnerud, who's already joking, so Linnerud's joking, he gets in front of Hedström, and Paukis is absolutely wild here, so Guy, you might be right about the wetness in some parts of the track, making a difference to the grip levels, taking them by surprise. Selston on a go-slow past the commentary box, and down at the front.
Visibility as well, Andrew, let's not forget, because, that just splattered straight over up there again. Somebody's wipers aren't working, that's Grosjean.
So Grosjean
he's got a muddy screen, he can't see.
Grosjean, great spot from Guy Wilkes. Grosjean can't see where he's going. So the wipers aren't working on Grosjean's car. This is incredibly brave from him. He goes into the joker lap, so Grosjean into the joker lap. It looks like the wipers aren't working on his car. They've sent him in there to try and defend from Linnerud, but Linnerud's got him already. People are stamping up and down up in the spotters tower. Grosjean really late on the brakes and in behind Linnerud into third place. So everybody now is joking except Kevin Hansen.
Yeah, absolutely. Spotters going mad up here. Not quite sure what that, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, all action, and the wipers definitely aren't helping Grosjean. You know, the sun is so, well, it's such a bright day. It'll be reflecting so badly off that mud that's splattered all over the front.
And the background, you can see, you know, wipers on for Paul Kiss, cleaning a great big swathe of clear glass across the front. And Grosjean looks like someone spray painted it. He's doing a brilliant job. If he holds on to second place here, it'll be absolutely outrageous. So third place.
They're working now, Grosjean's, but I don't know if he has any water.
Okay, so wipers on them, then maybe you're
They've
right.
only just come on now.
Okay, why?
Over the
a
bump,
bit late.
maybe after the jump, something electrical.
An electrical connection has made its way back up. I do feel sorry for him, but fantastic off the start.
So Kevin Hansen is checked out here. He's 7 seconds up the road. So, you know, back to that, he's in a class of his own lap times here. He's 39.7s, 39.8 as opposed to 40.5, really. So, you know, he's a second and a half quicker than anybody else on the track at the moment, really.
He's in a different postcode. Kevin Hansen has just gone into turn one and goes to the Joker early.
Look,
so Kevin Hansen
sensibly, slowly, the spotters. I can imagine a spotter going mad and saying you can only throw this away
they're
now.
normally shouting at Kevin, push, 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 aren't they? Now it's lift, lift, lift. You're all good out front. Grosjean's wiper still furiously going. He's got a little bit of a clearer screen, but he'll be pleased to get a podium from this because this has been a tricky
He'll have
race.
to hold Paul Kiss off hard. He's down the inside.
Great move, Paul Kiss, but he's too late. Paul Kiss has got too late on the brakes, runs wide. He's now falling into Hedstrom's clutches. Hedstrom up the inside. There's only just enough room. Paul Kiss is sideways over a crest in about 5th gear on the brakes and holds on into the left-hander.
Puncher front right.
Great spot, Guy Wilsey, and Hedstrom spins behind. It is all going on, so Hedstrom has spun, and that's released Paul Kiss on the last lap. Kevin Hansen.
Grosjean's got a problem going past us in the spotters tower now. We just heard it's really sounding sick.
So Grosjean with a misfire as well. This is absolute carnage in the Euro RX final, but not for this man. Kevin Hansen out front is in a class of his own at the minute. Kevin Hansen looks like he's going to take the win here in Norway. Great driving, guy, so far.
Yeah, absolutely. He has not put a foot wrong. He's just done his own race, stayed out of trouble, head down, nice and easy. So slippery and slithery in there now, you can see it.
Fantastic job. Kevin Hansen wins all 4 qualifying sessions. He wins his semi-final and he wins round 2 of the European Rallycross Championship for Supercars. Jumping over the final, they're cheering for him up in the spotters tower. I can see his mum Susan just to our right. Kevin, donuts at the end of the start-finish straight in the 208. And Linnerud chucks the car into donuts behind him as well. It's like a gymkhana up there.
Yeah, fantastic. That's what it means to people, you know, when you win a race like that.
Oh, brilliant stuff. Now, who have we still got to cross the line? Grosjean hasn't made it to the line, so Grosjean has dropped down to 5th place. There he is, bottom of the hill.
Yeah, it sounded really sick when it went past us here in the spotters tower.
Well, here's the result then of round 2 of the FIA European Rallycross Championship for Supercars. Kevin Hansen with the win from Tord Linnerud, Tamas Paul Kiss, Peter Hedstrom, Jerome Grosjean and Frederick Souston. That was exciting to say the least. Kevin Hansen, so pleased. A hug from the local commentator. Says it's the same guy that works at Hollius, of course. All these drivers know him. Here's another look. So, Guy, talk us through this. At this point, everybody's got clean screens. You spotted it, first of all. They'd watered the backside of the track to keep the dust down.
First of all, it was a really even start between, well, Kevin Hansen and Paul Kiss, but then Paul Kiss just got pushed wide. Grosjean did a great move down the inside, well within his right to do that. And then here you can see the wipers aren't, this is the first time over, and he's not sure where to turn in. Yeah, he's probably flapping, trying to find the wiper stalk.
This was the worst one,
was massive off that, really, wasn't it?
Slight misjudgment, but kept it lit. Impressive skills.
And there, when it landed over the jump, they're away there, aren't they?
So maybe a time. And then this was Paul Kiss. That was brave, and if he pulled that off, it would have been great. But a little bit too much on the brakes, too late. And Hedstrom very nearly got past here. There was contact between the two of them. Luckily, the next left-hander over the crest.
It was wild at the back, wasn't it?
It was. Kevin won't know anything about it. He's had a great time. Yeah, out front. He's had a great time out front. The car's clean, the wipers aren't on, and he's absolutely smashed it, to be fair. So Kevin Hansen continuing with the Hansen family name. Well, let's have a look at the championship standings after round 2, and they were equal when they came here. Kevin Hansen and Jerome Grosjean, and he's now 12 points clear. Tord Linnerud is 3rd. Paul Kiss, Rustad, Rajala, Souston and Kazmarski are your top 8. Well, back to the World Rallycross Championship, and Kiri is down with Matthias Ekström ahead of the final.
Matthias, it's certainly going to be a tough final out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's all down to the wire now. Looks like Timur and Bakkerud are really fast, so to give them a run for the money, we really need to push hard now.
They're not going to let you take it easy.
I'm pretty sure they're not going to want to give away this one, but we'll try our best.
Fantastic, thank you.
Cheers.
Ekström not necessarily looking like he thinks he can win this one, but maybe. Can't count him out. They've been clever with their tyre strategy. Hal Ridge is reporting for us as well this weekend. He's with Timmy Hansen.
Timmy, you won here last year in Norway and you won the podium last time at Lydden. What can you do in the final?
I just watched Kevin win his final, and I definitely want to do the same. I'm in third, so I'm in a good position, but two guys in front are really fast, so if we can pull this off, we have done something amazing.
And you had to push really hard to beat your teammate in the semi-final there.
Yeah, Seb has been quick, but I had new tyres on, so I think that made the difference. Now it's the final, it's the end of the race, and we go for the win.
And tactics for the first corner, can you make them from here or not?
First corner tactics, no, it's impossible.
Thank you, Timmy.
Timmy Hansen, last year's winner. Also not sure whether or not he'll be able to do the job, isn't it? And we're going to go and have a chat with Petter Solberg, who's with Kiri now, so we're hoovering up the finalists. Do any of them think they can win, or is it just going to be Bakkerud versus Timosyanov?
So it's not exactly where you want to be on the grid, but it's certainly still doable.
Well, it's doable. You know, it's been a tough weekend. You know, I tried everything, and but I'm very happy to be in the final, and got some good points also. And well, what can I say? You know, when they are faster, and especially on this track, you know, I never got it right. You know, even in my home country. So, well, it's not over yet.
There's still time.
Still time, you know. In the final, everything can happen. But now I can be in the background and watching what the other guys do, and I can maybe get on the podium.
Okay, well, watch this space. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, he's right, of course. From the back row, he can react to situations in front of him, and we've certainly seen from the EuroRX final, anything can happen. It's not just going to be about racing, it's going to be about reliability as well. Hal Ridge has managed to find the legend himself. He is with Sebastian Loeb.
Sebastian, you're on the back row of the final here with Petter Solberg, your old rival. Can you make the podium?
Difficult to say. It's not the best starting position for the final, but I will try to push. I will try my best. It's always difficult to know after the first corner how it goes, so I will try, and we will see.
Will you try and split the strategy with your teammate Timmy, so you're doing different things with the Joker lap?
It's difficult to say. Depends from the start. In our situation, it can happen a lot of things in front, so I think we will improvise.
Thank you.
Great to hear that, isn't it? So it may be a plan, but you know, as Sebastian in the same position as Petter, you can have a cheeky little look and see what's going to happen.
Improvise was the word, and they know from the back that's exactly what they'll have to do. They'll have to be reactive to what's going on in front of them. They don't have a clue what they're going to do yet.
I guess if you're at the front, you might have made a choice, might you? But at the back, you just cannot. Well, there's one man who's certainly a threat to Andreas Bakkerud. That is Timosyanov, and Kiri is down for a chat with the Russian driver now.
We are indeed down with Timor. Now, you've certainly not let Andros rest for a second, and you're not going to let it up now, are you?
It will be a tough race now because we are two best drivers, two fast drivers in the one row. And in the end, we don't know how it's finished, but I think we will try our best. And we need to start now.
We need to get out of your way.
It will be a hot day.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. See you.
It's Tim's being very polite, but saying, I've got to go. I've got a World Rallycross Championship final to contend. We're going to try and catch up with Andreas Bakkerud. I think we've managed to get hold of Andreas Bakkerud, so that's a full grid for you. We're going to go down and have a chat with Baby Blue now, competing at home for a win.
Andreas, you've been dominant all weekend here. Can you win at home?
I don't hear you, but I'm going to give it all for a final. It will be hard with Timur, but I'm going hard.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. He didn't need to. He knew what the question was going to be, didn't he? We could just stick a microphone in there and find out what we wanted to know. But Bakkerud there's a little bit of fear in those eyes, because there's a difference between the confident, quietly confident look and the, oh dear, there's a Russian driver who's very fast alongside me look, and that was the latter for me.
Yeah, well, I think obviously Timo's had his fair share of incidents over the years, but nevertheless, that's when he's been driving very aggressively. We've seen a different side to Timo Timosianov this weekend, I'm sure. And if he wants to win this race, he has to continue driving like that. He can't afford to go like a bull in a china shop.
No.
He has to keep his head, get the pace out of the car, and it will happen.
Not so easy, is it, when there's a World Championship win on the line? A first World Championship win, of course, that it would be for Timosianov. It would be a first win for the Hoonigan Racing Division if they can get it. Kerry's managed to catch up with Ken Block. Let's hear from him.
Ken, now this is obviously going to be a dream story if you manage to pull off the final.
Yeah, Andreas put himself in an excellent position. He's driven exceptional all weekend long, so really hope to see him try and pull this off.
Now I can tell you're particularly proud of him right now, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I've had a crap weekend. I've had a crap weekend, and he's had a perfect weekend, so I'm glad he's had such a good weekend. Really makes up a bit for how bad my weekend's been, but want to go see him do this final and pull it off.
Okay, well, I won't hold you up anymore.
Yeah, thank you.
Off goes Ken to watch. Apologies if anybody's offended. He's just had a not very good weekend, fair enough, isn't it? Compared to when your teammate's on pole in the final, it's not ideal. Here is the grid then for round 5 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Andreas Backerud, who the crowd are cheering for right now, is on pole. He's had the perfect weekend so far, but Timosianov was faster in Semi 2. Row 2, Timmy Hansen, the winner here last year, with what you could describe as an arch rival, Matthias Ekström, alongside him. And on row 3, Sebastian Loeb and Petter Solberg, the World Rally legends. The marshals are about to head off the grid, and we're going to get things underway. Cannot wait for this. Oh, the tension is certainly building. The crowd are on their feet behind. We are in the commentary box. I'm hoping you are at home as well. Lights are on and they're away from the line for round 5. Hansen looks to have got it hooked up in the background, but it's a great start from Backerud. Backerud down to turn 1. Hansen starts in behind. Loeb goes to the Joker with Ekström and Timosianov. Solberg has gone with Backerud down, and it's sideways up in the Joker. Timosianov's maybe a little bit wide. Is he going to lose time there, Guy?
Yeah, I think he did drop a bit of time, but critically he's kept position. Ekström's hard in his tail. Remember, he kept one new tyre, which I'm sure will be on that front left. So, you know, again, like we said it, now Timosianov has got to try and get on the back of Petter as quick as he can. Just close that gap. Let's see what it is at the end of lap 1.
Hansen then chasing Backerud. Backerud sideways. Mistake from Backerud, so that's going to play into Timosianov's hands.
Yeah, again, I think that's water on the surface. Hasn't dried out as much as they thought. I'm sure the spotters will have told them because they saw the Euro RX final just before. But again, he's been coming in there all weekend and never made a mistake the whole weekend.
Backerud through turn 1. Solberg's on the tail of these 3. Hansen going with Backerud at the minute, but it's about the Russian driver behind him, whether or not he can chase him down at the minute, Guy.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He's within 4 seconds at the moment after his Joker lap, so he just has to be clean. Backerud's under pressure from behind, isn't he?
Timosianov gets the Monster Energy Supercharge Award winner for the first driver down into turn 1. Backerud this time is wise to the grip levels at the rear of the circuit. The Russian is chasing hard, appears up through the dust. Ekström with him. We've got 2 trains of cars, Guy. This is going to be close.
Yeah, Timo with a very drastically different line to Matthias Ekström behind him, didn't he? But let's see who the winner is on time.
Solberg into the Joker lap. Solberg goes into the Joker lap now. He's going to try and come out in front of Timosianov. I think Solberg's made a mistake in the Joker, possibly. Looked like he's checked up in the middle.
Maybe.
Just beats Loeb down into turn 2.
Yeah, but it's Timosianov, you know, obviously Backerud, they're all pretty even on lap time at the moment, I've got to say, but, you know, Timosianov is the man with it in his hands at the moment.
Well, he's already got Solberg behind him. There's only 2 drivers who haven't jokered. It's Backerud and Hansen. Backerud desperate for the home win in Norway that would set the fans off crazy. Timosianov looked like it ran a little bit wide in the background there, but Timosianov not once since 2012, no World Championship wins to his name.
And you can see the car over those bumps yawing back and forth on the brakes. They're really aggressive. And you can see the travel in Andreas Backerud's car as it went through there, completely up and down.
At the minute then, it looks like Timosianov would do it by the slimmest of margins at the minute. Backerud down at the bottom. That's too tight to call, Guy.
Yeah, there's no chance he is going until the last lap. He has got to get clean laps in, and that's what his spotter, Dave Mansfield, will be telling him now on the radio. Just drive as clean.
You've got to be as fast as you can.
But be clean.
It's exactly what we saw with Petter and Matthias in Lidenhill, and in the end they couldn't get the job done. The noise here is epic. I don't know if you guys can hear at home like we can as they come past the commentary position. Baccarat chooses not to go. Hansen has gone. Hansen has gone into the joke lap, watching for the merge here as he comes on out. Hansen's going to try and get in front of Timosyanov. Timosyanov is in behind Hansen. So Baccarat then, in theory, is in the clear.
Yes, he is potentially, because Timosyanov must have made a little mistake off camera because he dropped a good half a second, a little bit more in that last lap.
Timmer with Ekstrom in the back of him. Timmer's been pushed wide, so Timmer's dropped the place down. They're stamping their feet in the spots out. Oh, Solberg's gone through too. It's over for Timosyanov. This is going to be now about Baccarat then against Hansen, the two young drivers in Rallycross coming through. Baccarat comes over the crest. He's just got one lap to go into the joke lap. This has got to be the tidiest joker of his life, because Hansen is chasing him down hard through the right-hander. The Focus R SRX is out, and it's in the lead, and the crowd are going to love this. They're going to love this. Hansen is in second place. Just half a lap to go. Can the car hold together? We know it's new. I'm praying it does. I'm praying it does.
He's had the perfect weekend. He just needs 3 more corners to do them perfect. And what a roar it will be at the finish line.
We're on board with Baccarat now as he comes up over the crest. He's just got 2 corners to go. Through the left-hander, through the right-hander. The crowd are going nuts already. Andreas Baccarat takes the dream win at home in Norway. Baccarat takes round 5. It's the first win for Hoonigan Racing Division and the first win for the Ford Focus RSRX. Here we go with a proper celebration. Baccarat spinning it round at the end of the straight. Oh, what a drive! What a drive, Guy!
That was an excellent drive, and although you didn't see the whole weekend on television just now, I have to take my hat off to him. What pressure he has been under all weekend. Home support. He has Petter Solberg, obviously, who has been the king in Norway at rallying and rallycross for so many years. He will be so emotional right now, I bet.
Oh, he looks spent, doesn't he? He looks spent. Absolutely brilliant. Shaking his head. I'm not sure he can quite believe it. Baccarat has pulled off the perfect weekend.
Dave, we were worried that we were going to jinx it, but that was the perfect weekend.
It was the perfect weekend. I think we'll leave it there. There's nothing else to say. That was the easiest job I've ever done. Andreas drove brilliantly. The team performed superiorly. It's amazing, absolutely amazing.
Do you know it? Well, we don't need to say anything. The Baby Blue fans are saying everything.
They're singing. Yeah, there's going to be some parties tonight.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations to all of you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'm grinning from ear to ear, and I think everyone is. I know Guy Wilkes is. Hal Ridge is up in commentary with us as well, back from his reporting earlier. Even Timmy's grinning. Timmy will know what this means to Baccarat to win at home, won't he, too?
Of course he does, because it almost happened to him last year in Sweden, didn't it?
Yeah, almost.
And the thing is, Andreas Baccarat, he's a great guy. Yes, he likes to have fun, but he's done a great job behind the wheel this weekend. It has been work.
Here's the result then of round 5 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Andreas Baccarat taking the dream perfect weekend win here at home. Timmy Hansen in second place, Matthias Ekstrom in third, Solberg fourth, Loeb fifth, and Timosyanov, who looked like he could take the win. It just went wrong in the final, but I'm pretty sure that will come soon. Oh, I'm speechless and breathless. I can't imagine how Baccarat's feeling right now, guys. You know, what a wonderful, wonderful result for them. And as you say, the pressure was on here through the whole race. At one point, it didn't look like it was going to go his way.
Exactly. Timo had it in his hands, and you know, must have made a mistake somewhere off camera. But as we see here from the start, he got away into the first corner first, and then he was off. There. Timosyanov, that's where he ran wide and lost a lot of time.
Good spot. Same place as Jeroen Grosjean in the European Championship final. So and that has possibly cost Timmer his first World Championship win.
That's not Petter's normal line through that corner. That's not the Petter with great gusto and great confidence. You know, he was a little bit anxious, I think, and just couldn't really work out where he was losing the time, and that's really paid dividends, or didn't pay dividends, should I say. Put him in the position that he was in. He was really chasing the game all weekend and never found it. But yeah, I think Timmer will be gutted to be dumped all the way back, because his pace was almost as good as Andreas Baccarat's.
Yeah, definitely.
The whole weekend.
And Hansen looking a threat again. Petter, just, with the interview before the final, we've tried everything and I just don't know at home, I can't do it. Maybe it's the circuit, but I can't wait now for the next round already. We're starting to see more winners. Baccarat is our third winner of the season. It looked like it was going to be the Ekstrom and Solberg show, and now Baccarat's gone, no, actually, don't count me out just yet.
And Timmy Hansen came back just when it mattered, didn't
it?
The semi-final and the final.
And with such Hansen with such a brilliant measured drive, wasn't it? You know, there we go, on the bar, chucks it in, and then on the gas, smoking the tyres up, a few donuts at the end of the straight. Fantastic, fantastic. Well, the crowd are all headed down towards the podium because, of course, they will want to be supporting their man, Mr. Baby Blue. There are absolutely tons of them down there already. And Backer will be headed up to the top step of the podium very shortly indeed. Look forward to seeing that. What a final. What a weekend, actually, not just what a final. I mean, we've seen some brilliant racing. You know, it's not the carnage that we saw in hell last year, if you remember Timo rolling cars. And it's actually quite a different story for Timo, isn't it? You know, last year, rolling the car and carrying on. This year, genuine contender for a win. Him and Baumanis, how long before they're up on the top step of the podium?
Exactly, you know, they're starting to come with serious pace. You know, they were troubling the guys who have been at the top, Matthias Ekström and Petter Solberg. They were ahead of them this weekend, you know, through the qualifying stages. That, like you say, is going to be interesting to watch for the rest of the season and how that pans out. But Timmy Hansen, again, back at the sharp end when it mattered. But what do you say? Andreas Backerud, absolutely mercurial.
Yeah, so
all weekend, the perfect weekend. You know, he won absolutely everything. Fastest lap as well.
Yep.
The only thing he didn't win, sorry, was the supercharger.
The supercharger would I
But Timo went for the joke. I think it's a little bit unfair, really, isn't it? With the two different corners.
I can take it because I quite like the idea of Timo getting a trophy for his weekend's work.
Yes, fair point.
Here is Backerud, car in Parc Fermé. Extra quick with the selfie look.
Ekström calling the shots. It's not blocked now.
Yeah, Ekström did his own, so it doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter. It's cool. It's great to see. Ekström.
It's a great atmosphere.
It's
a great atmosphere in the paddock.
Such a lovely championship.
There's not so
really
much hate in this paddock.
No.
Everybody gets on and talks to each other. Yes, of course, there's some mind games being played, but people see through them and past them after the weekend goes.
There's Kit, the coach from Hoonigan Racing Division, handing the cap over to Backerud. Ekström, that was Hansen over, Kevin Hansen as well. There's Jan Tor, who looks after Backerud. They're so chuffed. Backerud's just such a nice guy, isn't he? He's popular in the paddock. This will be a popular win. There are times when people will be, you know, this is a popular win. Ekström, I know, will be thinking, where was the pace this weekend? Because they haven't quite been on it, and everywhere else they've absolutely knocked it out the ballpark. Maybe, you know, this time's the first time we've gone, hello, there's a bit of a weakness there.
Yeah, and it's nice to see Hoonigan Racing right up there.
Yeah.
Because they're a new team and obviously a brand new car at the start of the season in this Ford Focus RS. And basically, they've come and beaten EKS, who are a fantastic team. Petter Solberg, fantastic team. You know, that is really well deserved. Really well deserved.
Yeah, it is. It's been a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. I'm sure Ford Performance will be over the moon as well. I doubt they would have thought, to be honest. I think Derek Dauncey, the team boss, would have said, I don't think we'd have expected to win this early. I know last night they'll have gone, okay, this could be on, but this possibly would not be expected just yet. Absolutely fantastic job from Backerud and the team. It's a win at home in Norway. Well, a few of the crowd have stayed up on the hill. I'm sure they've got a great view from up there. And they'll be wanting to see one man, Andreas Backerud. We can see him now because we grabbed the winner for a chat.
Andreas, congratulations. There is nothing else to say. Amazing weekend.
Well, hell is
your home.
home, and you know, I just love this place. Crazy that we won on home soil. I'm so proud of the whole team. You know, this is only our 5th event. So pumped and so stoked to be a part of this great team. Thanks to all our partners and all the team. You know, big thank you.
First Norwegian to win at home as well.
Oh yeah, that's great. I mean, last couple of years haven't been my best, but today, really on it all day. Yesterday, Friday practice. You know, it's good to come back like this.
And you've certainly worked for this. I know this weekend's been a perfect weekend, but it's been a long journey to here.
But believe me, I've been so nervous before the start. You know, my stomach was so bad. I saw Timur in the semi and he was flying, so I was expecting a big fight. So I don't know the gap or anything. I just went in there a joker and look, where is he, you know?
Just quickly, I'm sure you want to thank your baby blue fans.
Yeah, big thank you to all the supporters we have this weekend, all of my partners from very young age, from karting to rallycross. So big thank you to everyone.
Amazing, thank you, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Here are the standings after round 5 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Matthias Ekström still leading and Solberg still in second. The gap still 5 points between those guys. I'm sure it was 5 when we came here too. Loebluck is up to third. Christophersen down to fourth, but they're equal on points. Andreas Backer taking the win here in Norway has put himself back in contention with those guys. Heikkinen dropping down to 6th. Hansen remains in 7th and Larsen climbs to 8th. Timoš Janov up to 9th with a great result. Kevin Eriksson down, Baumanis down, but Baumanis up on pace this weekend. Doran with another difficult weekend here, but looking forward to the rest of the championship. It's by no means a foregone conclusion.
Right to the end, but congratulations.
Thank you. It really does feel like a victory. You know, I've been seeing Andreas fly away in front in the queues, and to finally be able just to follow this close is like a victory. You know, the championship is like a long war, and today feels like we won a battle.
You certainly did indeed win a battle, but it was right down to the wire, right down to the last seconds, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and no one could touch Andreas today. So to claim second and to get this performance right at the end, to actually be able to follow him, it really feels like we are closing the gap. And you know, it was a difficult start. Last time we were third, now we're second. I'm looking forward to the next.
Let's wait and see. Amazing, well done.
Thank you.
Well, team standings have changed as well, of course, after round 5. EKS, I say the points have changed, the order hasn't changed at all, incredible. So EKS at the top of the standings, Peugeot Hansen a little bit closer, I think, Volkswagen RX Sweden third, Hoonigan Racing on 100 points, and a lot of those are thanks, of course, to Backrud this weekend. Kiri has managed to grab hold of Matthias Ekström, so we can have a chat with him as well about his result this weekend.
Matthias third and still top of the table. It's not a bad weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we struggled a lot in the qualifying sessions and really started on the back foot with a lottery, had a rerun, tires got really a hard time, managed to fight back in the semi to be P2 there, and then in the final I felt we had a chance of running down Andreas and Timmy, and it was not because of me. Timmy, he was flying. Then he got a puncture, and after this I realized I have to get past him, and then I'm ending P3. Feels like a victory after this hard-fought weekend.
A hard-fought weekend, but well done. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot. See you.
Thumbs up from Matthias. I think he is actually genuinely pleased with third place.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, and rightly so, because it was a hard weekend. He pointed out there in his interview, you know, it was hard on tyres for him in the qualifying stages. And he played a clever card, you know, in the semis and hoped to pay dividends in the final by saving one. He didn't put 4 tyres on the car. But look at these guys now. I was just about to say, will this podium stay standing up after they get on it? Because it's going to go absolutely nuts, I think.
I'm slightly concerned as to whether they're all going to go home, because they've been in the bar at the hotel we're staying at for the last 2 nights, and let's say they're quite a rowdy bunch. They're lovely. They love rallycross. They want to get involved. They come over and ask questions, and they genuinely love the sport. Backrud, of course, has had to stay away because he's concentrated all weekend, but he's repaid them. They're all going to go home tonight. I reckon a few might be pulling a sickie and staying the night.
Yeah, I have no doubt.
No
he
words
knows how to
necessary.
play the crowd, doesn't he? He's a good lad.
Hansen taking second place. Great job by him. He is pleased. He's genuinely pleased. I do feel like the Peugeot is a step nearer. I do. Loeb threatened in one of the qualifying sessions to set a really good time. If you remember, he just got balked slightly. I don't know that he would have got backward, but they're nearer than they... Well, we say they're nearer than they were. Of course, the benchmark was Ekström and Solberg. Now the benchmark's suddenly backward.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that car's could come good here, and it is very good in long corners, very stable. I just feel Sebastian Loeb, that car isn't quite underneath him yet as he would want it. Watch this space. I think if he gets a good test, I don't think he's had really a really prolonged test to get the best out of that car for himself.
Up to third place in the challenge. Timoš Janov up on the podium to pick up the Monster Energy Supercharge Award. Really, really pleased for him. He deserved to pick up some sort of a trophy for what he's done this weekend. Well, this was the weekend in Norway. It's been great, it's been fantastic. It feels like a return to some incredible racing. This circuit is beautiful. We've had fantastic weather and incredible crowds. Guy, enjoyed being here again. I know you prefer the driving, but when the racing's this good, talking about it's not so bad, is it?
It isn't so bad. It's probably a very good second best. The action's been absolutely fantastic and a magic weekend for that man there.
A magic weekend up next, of course, as well. We've got the proper magic weekend, the nickname, of course, for Sweden, which is the next round. But this round, look at the racing, up to turn one. Turn one jokers, some people think, no, they split the field, but we've seen some wonderful racing here. Tactics, of course, off the start into turn one, varying for everyone. Hansen, Solberg, but Backerud out front, won every single qualifying session. Absolutely smashed it. Nobody has ever done that before. Another perfect start for him. There's his spotter, Dave. Dust flying up down at the bottom of the hill. Kristoffersson, there or thereabouts this weekend. Maybe he's got the monkey off his back, maybe not. Backerud, Solberg. Solberg would have been keen to beat Backerud here at home. That was Susan, I'm guessing, looking at Kevin in the European Rallycross Championship final. Solberg couldn't get the job done. Timazyanov couldn't either. Timmer was the one we thought was going to do it. This was Euro RX, Hedstrom spinning, Grosjean in running wide. Kevin Hansen taking the win and leading that championship comfortably. Great job by him. But it came down to the final for the World Rallycross Championship. Andreas Backerud versus Timazyanov. It looked like it was going to go the Russians' way. He hasn't won for more than 3 years. 2012, Backerud, no Norwegian has ever won at home. Nobody has ever won all 4 qualifying heats and the semi-final and the final. And Backerud has done it here in front of his massive fan club. It's a brilliant, brilliant result. The Focus RSRX is on the pace. Can he do it again in 3 weeks' time when we go to Hollius in Sweden for the Magic Weekend? Join us then. It's going to be mega.